Hi. Yeah, I think I forgot to turn my, I think I forgot to turn the input capture off so you can just hear me typing. Yeah, I know, 2 Merrick streams this week. I am 15 minutes late for my talk with Paradigm Shift, so that's really cool and respectful of me. But I just wanted to let you guys know what we were doing first before I popped on over there. And then you were like, hey, I just tuned into the stream. It's already going. What are we doing? What's happening? Who is this person? So let's go ahead and get, so with the paradigm shift. So we'll go ahead and get his information up there. And move him down a little bit. That's not how you spell paradigm. Okay. Okay. There we go. What is Paradigm Shift? Paradigm Shift is a person, and we will be speaking with him here in a second. Paradigm Shift is a black lefty who is actually probably streams. I think he probably streams 5 times a week. Actually, I think he does a lot of work. Yeah, thank you. So Kunti Gowan has put the link to his Twitch chat, or the link to his Twitch account in the chat, so you guys can click on that and go see. I think he's probably already been streaming for a minute, so he's probably already into it. They're just waiting on me over there. But I wanted you guys to know, what we were doing first. So yeah, let's go ahead and pop over there, see what is going on. He wants me to get into Hangouts and chats. Okay. Okay. I have no idea. Just for the record, I do not know what we're going to be talking about today. Hi, are we arguing today? No, Tyrannex, I don't believe that we're arguing today. Paradigm and I don't think we've ever actually had an issue. I don't think we've ever, had a disagreement. I mean, I'm sure there's things that he disagrees with me on, but we've never had, any sort of, confrontation or, overt disagreement, so I don't think that it's going to be an argument. He's been asking me to come on, and so, I think it'll be a friendly chat. Yeah, it'll be a blood sports. Happy Pride! Oh, thank you for the $10. Yes, happy Pride to everyone. I think I'm gonna do Pride events this month, but it's probably gonna be later on in the month. And maybe we'll get some footage from that. That could be pretty cool. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I think it'll go. Hydrate? Okay. Alright, it's time to hydrate. Oh, thank you, Wednesday. Ooh, 5 months in a row, I really appreciate that. Oh, there's nothing in here. Okay. Uh-oh. No, you're not supposed to go on there. You know that. You know you're not supposed to go on there. Sorry, the robot knows he's not supposed to go on the, 1 second. Alright, come on, buddy. Thank you. Okay. Oh, thank you, Tyrannex. Yeah, I finally caved, and I got myself, Is he stuck again? Baby, come on! Come on!
Move the robot to a new location.
Alright.
Start.
I'm gonna let him chill for a second. So, because I have 3 cats, 2 dogs, and 2 grown men living in this house with me, it was getting to the point where I was vacuuming twice a day. And I would vacuum twice a day, and I would get up in the morning the next morning, and it would just be it's a mess again. oh my god. And I was just like, I can't do this. And this was when I was like a lot more bedbound than I am right now. So it was just taking like everything out of me to do this. So I finally just caved and I got myself like a really nice, we put a little bit of money on the credit card, which maybe not the best thing to do, but I finally caved and got myself like an actual really nice floor robot. And it's completely changed my chore load, which has been really, really, really nice, because this one vacuums and it mops. Okay, it's actually really cool. Can I just dish about the robot for a second? I'm gonna show you guys this thing. It's huge, by the way. Oh, come here. He's very dense. He's very heavy. I kind of love him though. Yeah, it's a Roborock, so it's not like a Roomba or anything like that. Okay, be free, buddy. Go on.
Resuming.
And it'll mop and it'll vacuum. So it also has like 3D mapping inside of it. It knows all of the rooms. It knows all the floors in my house, and it knows like what different floor types are everywhere. It knows where different furniture is. It's really cool, actually, and it's made my life significantly easier. I say as it's trying to knock over my. Okay. Maybe we're done with my room for a second. How about that? Yeah. How about you go out here? There you go. I'm like, it's amazing as it like stumbles all over every obstacle in my room it's supposed to be able to find. Oh, hi. Hello. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was explaining to my chat that I got one of those little floor vacuums, and it's like completely changed my life and preserved a significant degree of my sanity, actually. I have 3 cats, 2 dogs, and 2 grown men that live with me. Yeah. It's so good. Wait, hold on. I don't know if they can hear you. Can you guys hear him? You probably can't, can you? Okay, hold on. I gotta fix this real quick. Okay, can we test it real quick, sir? No. No, hold on. Well, we actually have a audio bar visible now, but for whatever reason, how's that? Let's try that.
Yo,
Yeah.
Mike check in the building.
There we go. Okay, cool. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Are we going to be able to see you today, or would you like to stay hidden?
Oh, yeah, you can see me. How do I do that on my end?
There will be some tackles. Yes, there.
Is that something you do on your end, or is that... Oh, I see it now. Okay, hold on.
No, yeah.
Just kidding. I'm like professional streamer. I've been away for like 2 months. I don't know how to do anything. Oh, that's not right. Hold on. Oh, it's just stuck like that. Wait, I might need to change it through... Oh, you know what I think it is? I think it's if I'm going through Streamlabs, I can't also have it show on Discord. So...
Yeah. What you should do in that regard is what I do is I cut it off here and then I capture the Discord window.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that here. Let's see.
I do have other processes for like doing guest stuff, but I haven't launched any of them yet. I think you were around for a few of the things I was talking about, so you already know what's coming.
Why is it doing this to me? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna hang up. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. I gotta get him to drag me back. Let's see. Shoot! Okay, hold on, guys. Why is it so difficult? Why is it like this? Let me see. Okay, so we'll deactivate it from here. Excellent. And then let's give him a little shout. I'm back into Hangouts. Okay. Alright, so now we just gotta wait for a second. I can't turn. This is so goofy. I can't turn this camera back on right here. I can't turn the camera back on here because I need it to be deactivated here so that it'll work on Discord.
I keep forgetting. I keep this channel private so that way people who can't just pop in.
Oh, okay. Finally, it's showing me again. Okay, cool. Excellent.
Could you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Introduce yourself to my audience. I have to go pee. And as you can see, my sky is not the correct color, so I'm really like.
Okay. Hello to Paradigm Shift's audience. My name.
Sorry to interrupt again.
Yes.
But chat, I'm just letting you know. Oh shit. So you see how my room is a little. I can't hear you, Merrick, but I'm gonna assume you can hear me. You see how my room is a little cloudy? That's not my vape. That's the air. It's coming in through the window.
What the fuck?
Fuck me, man. Give me a second. I gotta check on my cats too.
Okay, well that's absolutely terrifying, actually. Okay. Jeez. I hope he's okay. I wonder what's going on. I know he's on the East Coast. I don't know if there's like fires or something there. I hope he's okay. All right. So, is he in Ontario? I actually don't know. So hi to Paradigm Shift's audience. My name is Merrick DeVille. I am a lefty, sometimes streamer. I haven't really streamed like consistently in, I don't know, probably the better part of the last year. I've maybe had a couple of months where I've streamed consistently. Mostly I am a Twitter poster where I do sex work advocacy, I do trans rights advocacy, I talk a lot about feminism, things of that nature. Yeah, I've known Paradigm for a little bit now, and he's actually asked me a couple of times to come on, but like I said, I wasn't really streaming, but I decided that, you know, he'd been asking me for a minute, so I was like, I should just fucking make some time. And yeah, I streamed again the other night, so I was like, I should try to do it a couple of times this week. I should talk to him. So here we are. Oh, you know what? We should put, Can I copy this somehow? Because I want to put his name up. Oh yeah, copy, okay. Can I paste it? Why isn't it working? So for reference, for anyone who's new here, I have been streaming on and off for 3 years. I still don't know how to use Streamlabs. I barely know what I'm doing. So if I'm asking a lot of questions, how do I do this? How do I make this work? I'm just a boomer. I'm sorry. This is a recurring theme on my stream, is that I just have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. We're just winging it.
Hello, I'm back.
Hey.
Can Merrick see us? It depends on if she went into the chat. So sorry to keep you waiting.
No biggie. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I mean, technically, no.
Okay.
My entire room smells like a barbecue.
What's going on?
So the Canadian wildfires, because of the way global warming and climate change has been affecting the wind cycles. Normally, in a situation where Canada's under wildfires season, the wind blows upwards. That's why it gets warmer in this. Not to say, like, I'm just, in case anybody doesn't know, that's why it gets warmer during the summer, because the air from the equator is flowing upwards.
Right.
It's colder when the North Poles in this winter pull the air down. Okay. The air is not going up, it's going down and to the right.
Oh.
So, yeah. So all of the smoke from the wildfires is pouring into the Northeast.
Are you in like New York or like what?
I'm in New York City.
Okay.
I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh God! So your whole apartment is just filled with smoke.
Everybody's apartment is filled with smoke. Every building in New York City is building from New York City to maybe I want to say Ontario, Canada is filled with smoke.
Jesus.
Connecticut is bathed in it. Half the East Coast is bathed in it right now. Like, everybody has orange skies. This is not a filter. This is not the sun coming down after a period of time.
Right.
We have on stream been watching this in real time get oranger and oranger and oranger. And I wasn't even trying to be funny. I wasn't even going to talk about it today.
Right.
But then it just got like a Jersey. Yeah, like it's, oh my God. And then I couldn't ignore it. Because now as I look about it, I was complaining, basically, I was saying, this is that future, this is that dystopian Mexico filter shit that y'all be like...
that they do in Breaking Bad?
Yeah!
Everything
Y'all
is
be
yellow?
I swear to you, if I could show you any better, like, yo, it really looks like a sandstorm is about to hit.
So
Like,
you have an
Yeah, go
amazing camera? I don't know what camera you're using, but you have an amazing camera. So, like, I can see that your entire, like, the sky is yellow. It's really crazy. I thought that, like, I don't know. I didn't know if this was, like, some sort of, like, filter or screen you had on your window, or if this was, like, a light you had in your room. That's really wild.
This shade
Yeah.
here is my signature green shade. Does this look green to you? It's green in my eyes. I can see it as being green, but you can't see it as being green.
That's crazy.
It's bad out here. But regardless of that, we're still going to keep the energy rolling. I'm sure you've already introduced yourself to my audience already, but we're going to do it one more time just for the sake of it, for anybody peeling in today. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Paradigm Path, we got the one and only...
Merrick DeVille.
Pleasure to have you on here. As you know, I'm trying to work a lot differently than like other streamers on this platform, especially the very male-dominated, like very egocentric. There's no traps here. I'm not trying to get you to say anything. I cleared this in the air earlier because motherfuckers is really snakes out here, and we've dealt with a bunch of them. People that we even have, or that I have close to me, don't like you. You have people on your side that are close to you that don't like me. Can't figure it out for the love of me. We're not here to talk about any of that. We're here to I'm just gonna ask you a couple questions about your experiences. Your experiences basically on the internet, as you know, Elon has took over. There are just certain situations that obviously you've been in, certain conversations. I want to just rap about those, give you a chance to really just speak your mind in a place where, like, you know, there's somebody understands you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like we don't have those spaces on Twitch. I feel like I've said this to you before, but like, you already know me. I gotta repeat for the masses. The first thing I wanted to ask you is, so I've noticed that, like, throughout this rise of the blue check, that there's been a lot of, like, misogyny re-ingrained into a lot of discussions about, like, the most mundane topics, to the point where, and it's an ecosystem, they all exist, we know they exist, we're not gonna, but, like, the absurdity of people like Vosh and Destiny, the absurdity of these splinter groups of people just say outrageous shit, and, like, you'll sit there and you'll be like, that can't be real. That can't, you can't be serious. Like, that's, I literally look like I'm in Mad Max, so this works even better now. That's bait. That's bait.
I'm not falling for that.
Right, like that's bait. And this, of course, runs us back into the ever-loving grind of Gamergate. Do you feel like your experience on the internet has been more positive or more negative as time has elapsed since the rise of, we will call it, the blue check far right online?
So this is sort of a strange question, in that, like, I think it's a very straightforward question, and I understand why. Maybe not a strange question. I feel like the answer to this is sort of strange.
We here for it.
Yeah, I don't really feel like my experience has moved linearly, if that makes sense. So, I assume some of you will know who I am. I actually anticipate that a lot of your audience probably has a pretty negative opinion of me.
Actually, you're good here.
Oh, okay.
I haven't. Yeah, everybody seems happy to see you.
Okay, cool.
I would have told you different, but no, yeah.
Okay. After everything that has happened, I just sort of anticipate that whenever I'm going on to a lefty stream, that there's an aspect of, like, walking into the lion's den. This is just something I have come to, like, assume and anticipate. But so, my experience online initially when I first got on Twitter was, like, immediately shooting up, becoming very popular, like, within 4 weeks. I went from under 100 Twitter followers to 30,000 in, like, 5 weeks, right? I had no idea what I was doing. It was a very strange experience, and within about 2 months, I had become a main character. And this was, horrifying, terrifying, horrifying, traumatizing, all the things. And this lasted for about a year and a half. And so my experience initially online was very, 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 very negative. I was very naive. I was very gung-ho and very earnest. And, like, these are, like, the cardinal sins of being on Twitter.com. So it was very bad. And then there was, like, a 6-month, maybe, like, year period where I just stopped fighting. I just stopped fighting with leftists. I stopped trying to defend myself. I stopped trying to, combat misinformation. I stopped picking fights with people who had, like, ideas that I thought were untenable or that I thought were harmful, because I was like, you know what? This is probably a 17-year-old. Or, like, you know what? This is someone with 30 followers. I don't need to do this. I don't need to argue everything that I'm like, what do you mean we'll just forage for berries? What do you mean we will destroy civilization?
Sorry, you said it. I'm the weirdest motherfucker in the world. Everything's a reference with me. What? She said it. I have 2 rules for hanging out with people in my life now. I'm 29. I have 2 rules.
Okay.
Don't make me. I only hang out with people who who I would invite to my wedding, and I don't hang out with people who make me ask, "What do you mean by that?" What do you mean by that?
Okay.
Because once you hit that point in the conversation, it's like, okay, now I gotta sit here and no. What do you mean by that? No, go further, bro. What was that about? Like, I can't do it. But yes, continue.
No, that's totally fair. That's completely fair. But so I was kind of, like, stuck in this cycle for a while where someone would be like, actually, Stalin did nothing wrong. And it would get, like, 12,000 likes, and I would be like, fuck you, you're making us look bad. They'd be like, actually, the gulags had swimming pools. And I'd be like, oh, do you want to talk about how Auschwitz-Birkenau had swimming pools too? Do we want to fucking do this? And, I had this kind of, like, bulldog energy, right? Because I was so, I think, mad and, like, traumatized by the way that I had been treated, that I was in this, like, anger cycle, right? So I would see dumb lefty takes and I would just be like, fuck you, stop saying these things. And it took me a really long time to be like, it's okay. Let them say it. There's 30,000 people online that think the gulags had swimming pools, and the only reason why I think that there's more of them or that they have any sort of power is because I'm seeing it all the time, and it's making me insane.
That's a great transition point.
Yeah.
You're seeing things all the time. As we know, Elon took over Twitter a while ago. Do you think, in your opinion, that he has been pushing more, I don't even want to say extremist content. I want to say, has he been pushing the more fringe thoughts to the top of your For You page?
So
And has that affected the way you use Twitter and social media as a whole?
yes. So what I'm sorry, and I realized that I was taking a very long time to get to this. We're in a national Adderall shortage. I have not had my medication in a very long time. But I feel like now I'm experiencing again this sort of almost a mirroring of what I was experiencing before, but now it's flipped. So instead of being like raging at like tankies and like dumb anarchists and like freaking out about bad takes, I had this period of like tranquility where all I did was shit on dumb right-wingers, and I learned how to pick my battles. And in learning how to pick my battles, I think I learned also a degree of humility, and I learned that I actually had time to reflect and feel safe online, and I wasn't defensive about everything. And it really changed, I think, a lot of the way I interact. So I was very calm. Then Elon took over Twitter. And when Elon took over Twitter, we saw like I personally, and I know a lot of other leftists saw this sort of very radical shift in the kinds of posts and the kinds of things that we were being fed. So now, instead of seeing, you know, some anarchist who's like, I will solve all of the social ills with the power of my AK-47, right? So like, you know, you don't see that shit anymore. But now you see things like, I actually was going to ask you before I came on if you'd seen this. So
Talk to me.
This morning, right before I got in the shower, right before I was like getting ready to come on. So I'm Jewish, right? So I don't know, like, this is not really something I talk about, but like there's a lot of anti-Semitism there's a lot of misogyny, yeah, and that's typically what I tend to focus on in Elon's new Twitter space, but there's also a lot of anti-Semitism. There's a lot of anti-blackness, and there's a lot of anti-Semitism, and it's really concerning. So this morning, I see a tweet, and it was about an hour ago now, where there's a post from this guy, and it says, you can do adrenochrome, or you can hate the Jews. Well, this is the Jays. Which way, Western men? And it's a picture of Biden on the left, and it's a picture of Mel Gibson on the right.
No!
Oh, hold on. I'm going to link this to you, because there's two other tweets, actually, that this links to. Oh, yeah. Here, I'm going to put it in the chat here.
Okay.
So,
oh my god.
So guess who responds? Guess who thinks that's like a really cool thing? You already know. You already know.
You're kidding me.
And he goes, Gibson is really that buff these days? Mm-hmm.
And this is what, okay, so I've talked about this, and this is perfect. These transitions are too perfect. Either I'm really good at this interview / conversation / podcast shit, or I'm God. One way or the other, I'll take it. So I've been on this rant about the absurdity of online discussions at this point.
Yeah. And
I really wanted to have you on, because I need another person to tell people, yo, I hope you know that like every point you've probably argued in the last year is fucking meaningless. I hope you know every discussion you've probably had, every panel you've been on, there's nothing being achieved here. Like there's no, it's absurd. Like it doesn't exist. Like, this entire swath of whatever anti-whatever gets pushed by the people we just mentioned to yet again be legitimate. Like, you retweeting something and saying, quote tweeting something and saying on top of it means your audience sees that. And, like, at this point in time, I'm not saying maybe for me, I think my audience is a little too small for this. But, like, for anybody who's saying we're over, like, 50K, you got a weirdo in there. You got somebody who's like, he's mentioned this. It's Pepe Silva. It's Pepe Silva. I swear to God.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, then something happens and you're like, well, how did that happen? why do these people dabble in the absurd? Why are we the quote unquote touch grassers, the regular ones?
So I think I get what you're trying to say. You're trying to say, like, if you have over 50,000 followers, you have to be, like, really careful about the kind of things you say, because there's someone in your audience that goes, oh, that's the bad person? I'll go fucking shoot them up. Yeah. No, I know what you're meaning. And this is the same thing, like, this came out with Tim Pool and the Allen shooter. Do you remember that? Did you?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
it was like, oh, he was a big Tim Pool fan. Wow.
And they just laughed it off.
And they laughed it off. Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's crazy too, because this is the kind of stuff that, like, I have to think about as well, right? So it's like, I have 62,000. I think this morning I woke up, I have 62,000. And with the amount of, like, psychotic hate, like, right-wing hate followers that I have to be, like, I have to start thinking now about, like, the way in which I, like, responsibly advocate for the positions that I hold. Because when so something happened the other day where a bunch of people were counter protesting, or they were protesting outside of an abortion clinic, and this old dude got his shit rocked, and this anti-abortion group tweeted it out, and they were like, wow, look at this, look how violent these abortion protesters are. And I was like, dog, y'all have been killing doctors and bombing abortion clinics and harassing people for like 50 years. Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? And I was like, are you seriously gonna, like, you're gonna murder people and bomb clinics and harass people for decades and decades and then cry when one dude gets his shit rocked? Like,
yep.
You think you're not gonna get fucking popped, one of you? You're not gonna get punched in the face? Are you kidding me? Like, this is how real life works. And, like, so many people were like, oh, she's endorsing violence. Oh, she's endorsing violence. Oh, she's endorsing violence. But my thing wasn't like, yeah, you should go around punching old people in the face. My thing was like, do you not, you guys have been doing violence to us for decades.
You want me to swing it? You want me to swing it super personal and super hard real quick?
Yeah.
You ready for this pivot?
Yeah.
Okay, so you being a sex worker,
yeah.
That's been inherently violent since its inception due to the patriarchal structure of just straight up not respecting women, and even in the form of a contractual obligation where a man, presumably, because everybody in one form or another has paid for sex, whether it's advertised. I'm not even gonna get into that because y'all don't even.
There's women that visit sex workers. Yeah.
Like yeah, right. Within that system exists both people denying reality and then people denying your reality. How do you think that this spilled out into your real life in any way, shape, or form? These types of discussions, the Andrew Tate misogyny saga, the entire like Sneeko realm, the manosphere, has that started to bleed into any portion of your actual life?
I have 3 younger brothers, so to a degree, yes. Because, you know, we've had to have conversations where it's like, you know that this is not real, right? Like, you know that this is not how you talk about women. You know that biological essentialism is not real. It's not true. It's all very bad pseudoscience. Like, I have 3 younger brothers. We've had to have these conversations. I'm lucky. And I mean, I also have a younger sister who's still in high school. So, like, I worry about her. I worry about the ways in which young men who are watching this sort of stuff, how that will influence their thinking about her. So yeah, I mean, I think to a degree it does. Like, I don't really do full service stuff, and like, I haven't done full service stuff in a long time, and I don't dance in the clubs anymore. But, like, I would say that my OnlyFans is my real life, right? Like, that's still my job. Like, is it online? Yeah, sure. But it's still my real life outside of Twitter. And I definitely have noticed an uptick in, like, the kinds of things that people are willing to say to me. So it affects my real life there. It definitely affects my presence online. But I'm fortunate in that I don't have to do any sort of contact sex work.
Right, or interactions, or like, okay, because it's bled into my real life, and I just want to show like the difference in.
Would you mind explaining how?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had a couple people on stream recently in real life. I had a couple guests. And, like, it turns out that a lot of them got their vaccine opinions, a lot of their, like, opinions on what's happening in the real world from Joe Rogan, from Sneeko, from Andrew Tate. and like they'll slip into like the conversation I had with my friend Melissa. Like we started on I don't know, some social commentary, and she was like, well, I just generally while I'm around I just start listening to Joe Rogan, and he has some pretty great points. So I'd explain to her, like, I couldn't go through his points, I just had to explain Joe Rogan's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And then we got on to like something within vaccines in that conversation, and she started going off about the medical industry, and I was like, yeah, no, right, big pharma, fuck big pharma, da da da. But then she spilled into the vaccines and how like, there's this and that. So we had to do the whole H-bomber guy thing and just had to rally her. And then another notable instance, because there's plenty of them, but these are just notables. I got the flu vaccine after an appointment that I had with my doctor. And I made a joke to the nurse that was coming in, and I was like, yay, I'm finally going to get the 5G. Let's go. Da-da-da. I always make that fucking joke. Everybody laughs. But she took it serious. And she was like, I'm not even paraphrasing, word for word, bar for bar. Oh, so I see you done your research. You're pretty up on the situations that are going on, right? And I said yes. Because I had assumed in my head she was like talking about, the crazy people like that be talking all this wigwam.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I got some other news for you. Yeah, we're finding out real quick about the microtechnology and the vaccines.
No.
And my friend's a lab technician, and even she says she's seen the microchips in the vaccine. And at this point, this is the first time I've ever had a medical professional like explain themselves off the deep end to me. And it may be because, I'm a very welcoming personality. People feel like they can trust me. But at the time,
people will tell me, oh my god, dude.
Right?
Okay.
Yo, and I just remember thinking in my head, yo, you're free to have whatever opinion you want, but like, first of all, you work in the health industry.
Dog,
Second
you're
of
on
all,
the clock right now. You're on the clock.
Not even that, yo. It got even worse because in my head I'm thinking, you're about to give me a vaccine right now. What is in this though? Like, did you do something to this? like, I don't understand why you would like come to me and say that to my face as you're giving me a vaccine. Like, do you want to talk about this real quick? Like,
she's like, don't worry, I put enough mercury in it that it will kill the microtechnology, the nanotechnology in it. You're like, oh, okay.
But like, what if she did though? And this is what I mean about bleeding into like real life, is how many times do we get to understand the situations that we're in, and the types. I've always said everything starts from a conversation. Everything starts from a conversation. Somebody said something bad to somebody else, and then before you knew it, Germany invaded Poland. Like, it just happened that way. Like, I really gotta. I have proof. Okay, I have proof of an actual conspiracy theory that you should fucking vibe with.
Okay.
Oh,
my son.
I think that I can explain the chain of events from the formation of Destiny's Child to the January 6th insurrection. Swear to God, I could get us from there to there. I've been doing it with a lot of shit.
God. Okay, there's actually a really fun one though that I think you'll enjoy, which is My Little Pony. It's the My Little Pony being banned from like 4chan servers to January 6th. Do you know that one?
Oh, I don't.
That one's real.
Vibe with me. Tell me.
Well, so it's the idea that they used to have all this like My Little Pony posting in these like fucked up forums. These like I'm sorry, my son is like not gonna rest until I give him all of the attention. It's the idea that they used to have this My Little Pony posting. I think it was on 4chan, and they broke off. They wouldn't let them do it, and these guys got really fucking mad about it. And so they broke off and made their own servers and their own forums, and those ended up evolving into like 8chan. And through 8chan, we get the radicalization, and we get these like further isolated forums. my friend gave me a talk on the chain. Okay, so Roxy knows this too. People in my chat know this. I swear I'm not making this up.
No, we believe you.
we-
Ain't no point in making that shit up.
We get these dudes who are like, they're weird basement dwellers. They want to jerk off to My Little Pony. They're on these isolated forums. They're in these weird spaces that cultivate a lot of reactionary thought, and they're breaking off into smaller and smaller and smaller forums where they can find whatever weird My Little Pony, I want to come in Rainbow Dash shit, whatever it is that they're fucking looking for. And you have these smaller echo chambers that get weirder and weirder and weirder and filled with weirder porn, and they evolve into places like 8chan, and however many years later, here we are with these disinformation radicalization networks, and then we have January 6th happen.
All right, now I'm gonna pick on your political knowledge.
Okay.
I'm gonna bully you.
Okay. All right.
I don't give a fuck about free speech. I'm trying to see more titties on the internet. I'm in a perplexing situation right now.
Okay.
What on earth do you think we should do about these hellholes of basement dwellers that exist on the internet?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, people hate this. They hate this position, especially other lefties. They fucking hate it. My position is I am pro deplatforming. I love it. Kick them the fuck out. No. You can't have your 400,000 Twitter account that Elon Musk responds to that goes, back in the old days, we used to do farm work for 3 hours, and then we would come home and have breast milk ice cream, and my wife was chained to the oven, and then Elon Musk is like, interesting, I'll look into that.
I'm looking into it.
Yeah,
I
looking
fucking
into
hate
it.
that shit.
Yeah. So what we find is there are a number of studies that have been done on this, and what happens is when you deplatform people, when you shut down like large forums, like when they had the incel forum. You remember the original incels forum on Reddit? Mm-hmm. That's gone now. That's been gone for years. And so what happens is a small core group of people get shuffled off into more and more and more extreme places, like what we were just talking about. But hundreds of thousands or millions of other people don't get exposed to whatever the fucked up nonsense was in the first place. So every time they do a study on like deplatforming a major figure or shutting down a large forum or something like that, these are the results that they find, that you do make a small group of people more radical, but you end up saving, hundreds of thousands of people from seeing the bad shit in the first place. And I am a huge, huge, huge advocate for prevention, because I would much rather we not have the bad things happen than we have to come in afterwards and clean up the mess. So I agree with you. I don't give a fuck about your free speech. I just want to see some titties on twitter.com.
Quite literally. Okay. Dope ass response. Didn't see you coming in with the research. Not to say that you wouldn't have that, just I love having little things off the top of my head, but like I wasn't planning to go this deep into that. So here, my ADHD has led us here. Dope. Stop the spread. It's like a virus that should need to be quarantined.
Quite literally, yes, absolutely.
But and I'm not even trying to be funny. For the people who will see this, I like to get ahead of freaks because it's fun to get ahead of freaks,
I'm sorry. That's such a funny way to say that. Oh, I just gotta get ahead of freaks, man. Okay.
But you feel me? So does that make us the baddies?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you have to ask yourself, so this is a question I ask myself a lot, right? Because, not am I the baddie, but this idea of, how much are you willing to give up for better outcomes? And I think that if you want to have really solid answers to this, you have to have a really solid sort of moral framework. You have to have a really solid philosophical foundation. At the end of the day, what I want is for more people to have more freedom, right? And to have that happen, there are some things that you do actually have to give up, right? So what does more freedom mean? Well, if you're dead broke, can you go do a bunch of stuff? Do you have the freedom to go do whatever you want? No, of course you don't. You actually have significantly less freedom when you don't have money to do anything. If you can't afford to take care of yourself and your health is in decline, congratulations, you have significantly less freedom now. If you can't log on without being run off the internet by people talking to you about, reject the Jews, go home and drink breast milk ice cream from your 14-year-old trad wife, like, do you actually have freedom if spaces are so insane and hostile to you? No, you really don't. And this is sort of this idea of, like, when we look at places like 4chan, when we look at places like 8chan, which is now 8kun, do you have the freedom to be a normal person on those websites? No, because you're going to get mobbed by freaks. Like, I'm sorry, you can't be normal in a place that is hostile to the vast majority of people. And these uber reactionary spaces are hostile to the vast majority of people. There's a very traditional lifestyle that fits for a small group of people, right? White, cis, heteronormative, middle class WASPs. And if you don't fall in that, you better get in line, you better know your place, or you better go the fuck away. So that's not freedom for the vast majority of people. So it's like, okay, if we're willing to be sort of authoritarian and intolerant to this sort of stuff, does that make us the baddies? No, I don't think so, because it's a very basic utilitarian calculus of you can't actually oppress you can't have a small minority of people actually making existence miserable for everyone else. Sorry.
Nah, you sound like me when I be going off. Fuck it, take the mic, Hurt. It's your stream now. Hurt, you mouse. No, great answer. You spoke on one thing. First, I'm gonna be fucking weird for a second. I'm gonna ask for permission for this and then do it.
Okay.
May I compliment you?
Yeah, of course. Thank
Okay,
you.
so when you had said, do I think, am I the baddie? I was gonna say right then and there, well, you are the baddie. See, and then with it, yeah. I'm smooth like that. Anyway, shut
Thank
up,
you.
everybody. Let me have this one. Hey, my sky is orange. Okay, let me have this one. Fuck, man.
You can have this one.
Thank you. Anyway, like, I'm not even being hyperbolic. Like, it's just dead ass. My sky is orange. Like, oh man. As you see, it's getting brighter. So I assume that like
Yeah.
we're getting a small little break, but this that might be because the sun is going down.
Jeez.
It's like,
I'm gonna send you like an air filter. I'm gonna like buy you an air filter and send it up there. That's so scary.
yo, it is like for the majority of people out here, it is probably insane
Yeah.
that like, and I was talking about this earlier, infrastructure. This is the type of thing with infrastructure. I really want somebody to invent like a super gigantic blimp fan that like anytime we have these issues, it goes through the sky, suck up the air, purify it, and push it out the blimp. That we got F-15 fighter jets that are like what, like 1.7 billion to build. A big fan purifier is like what, $20 at Home Depot. Like, I feel like we spending our money in the wrong place. You know what I mean?
We
But
have an
back-
entire SpaceX company that could get on this tomorrow if they wanted.
He should look into that.
He should look into that!
Like, oh my god. So back onto the subject. You had mentioned something about freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
In this world, there is an emerging existence of, or a more surfaced, more visible existence of a certain group of people. These people are known as the transgender community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you just hypothesize how on earth this trans panic is working when it's just the repeat of the gay panic in the 2010s after marriage was passed, the gay panic in the 2000s with the entire metrosexual movement. It was cool. It was funny to make fun of gay people from 1999 to like forever. Um, the Satanic Panic, the traditional panic, the civil rights movement, the Japanese Red Scare, the Communist Scare, the Spanish Scare, the Asian American Scare, the Chinese Scare. You see, we've had a lot of scares, you know.
We're really good
How
at
is
getting
this
scared.
one work? Yeah, like we really, it's funny for a bunch of Americans that be like, "Yo, we ready for whatever." Y'all really do be panicking at like everything. Like y'all got so many, we have so many panics. Like you've never not lived in fear. You've never not lived in fear.
Yeah.
Why is this one taking hold so heavily? Do you have an idea?
So, I mean, yeah, we've had a lot of scares, but with the particular rhetoric tied to this one, especially with like sexual harm and harm to children, this actually, and I know that like a lot of people don't like comparisons to the Weimar Republic, they don't like comparisons to the Nazi Party, because, you know, typically I think when people are doing this, they are being a tad bit hyperbolic. We do love to say, this is true, everybody loves to say that everyone else is like the Nazis. But something that, like, we've seen is that they are actually comparing it to Nazis. They compare doctors who do trans-affirming care to Joseph Mengele. They compare it to, like, what are you doing? Okay, you gotta relax. They compare it to, they call it butchery. They compare it to experiments being done on people in concentration camps. And when we look at actually the beginning of the Third Reich movement and the beginning of the Nazi movement, we see that, everyone talks about how they burned books. Well, what books were they burning? Because the books they were burning were studies and information on queer people. A lot of people don't know this, but the Weimar Republic, before Hitler took power, Berlin was like incredibly liberal. It was the liberal capital of Europe. There was a lot of research being done into homosexuality. There was a lot of research being done into transness. There was an entire institute that was dedicated to learning about trans people. And so a lot of that information was burned. And the first people that they went after were actually, some of the first people they went after were drug addicts. That was actually a big thing that they did. But one of the second groups of people that they went after were queer people and trans people. And even after a lot of the camps were liberated, a lot of queer Germans ended up going back to prison. And this is something that we don't really talk about. A lot of people don't know this, but queer people were some of the first targets of the Reich. And so, I do think it actually is an apt comparison. A lot of the things that they were saying about Jewish people, that they were saying about us, is that, was it Magnus Hirschfeld? I believe it was Magnus Hirschfeld. Let's see. Hold on, let's look this up real quick. Magnus Hirschfeld. Yeah, so Magnus Hirschfeld was a German physician and sexologist. He died in 1935. Okay, so Hirschfeld was targeted by the Nazis for being Jewish and gay. He was beaten by Völkisch activists in 1920, and in 1933 his Institute for Sexual Wissenschaft was sacked and had its books burned by Nazis. He was forced into exile in France, where he died in 1935. So what we're seeing now is, I think, a little bit deeper than a lot of the panics we've seen in the past. What we're seeing now has elements of legitimately genocidal elements to it. And that's something that we also don't get in a lot of these other panics. We can talk about, like, why do things get bad, but I certainly believe that a lot of it has to do with I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we have a not even nascent anymore, because it's pretty well established now. We have a neo-fascist movement in the Republican Party that has been accepted and accepted and accepted, and it's grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And now we have the richest man in the world responding to tweets about how what's his fucking name, Mel Gibson, is like super buff because anti-Semitism is aligned with like higher testosterone levels or whatever. So you ask me, like, why do I think this is gaining ground? Why do I think this has sort of feet on it, if you will? I think it's because this is what's been picked and what's been targeted by a new wave of legitimate fascism. Whereas before, when we were shitting on gay people before, and when we were pushing back against, gay people getting the right to marry, I don't think that the fascist movement in the right wing of this country, I don't think that it had begun to walk yet. It was still crawling. And don't get me wrong, the fascist movement that we've been seeing now has been growing for a long time. I think that the rise of the religious right has been part of it, but it's also, we can also trace it back to the Koch brothers. Like, do you know, for instance, what they've been doing amongst institutions and amongst with like libertarian values in this country?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know that they'll donate like whole economic wings, and then it'll teach students what the Koch brothers want them to learn, and it'll be like the American Freedom Economic Institute or some shit like that, and it's like right on the border of ANCAPism. But so there's this coming together that's been in the works for so long in our country of these different extremely radical far-right movements, and they're all tying together. And then on top of that, we have a widening income gap. On top of that, we have the 2008 recession. We've gotten, so this is something that we see a lot, right? When things are bad economically speaking, when the middle class is being whittled away, when people feel that they're sort of in free fall, when capitalism is failing them, they look around for someone to point to. They look around for someone to blame. And right now, we're in a position where, as I said, the income gap, it's not shrinking, it's definitely widening. And we also have the rise of what you're talking about, right? Like these sort of unchecked misogynistic influencers that teach young men that their self-worth and their value is tied to their economic situation. It is tied to, can you afford a house? What kind of car can you afford, right? What is your material status? And as everyone's material status starts to crumble away a little bit, well, what does that leave men with? Well, it leaves them with this sort of really fractured sense of self. They have no internal healthy self-esteem that they're attached to. So what do they turn to? Well, they turn again for someone to blame. Well, who's done that to them? Well, it's the feminist movement. Well, what is the feminist movement supporting? Oh, it's the queers and the gays and the women. So there's this hyper-masculine element that is, because, while men are falling behind, feminism has been gaining grounds, but we haven't actually sort of like dug into this sort of hierarchical understanding of men and women's positions. So there's these superficial changes for women, but men still have this sort of resentment, and they still hold this idea that we are actually intellectually and biologically inferior, that we do have an intellectual and a biological place. So we've got economic dissatisfaction, right? Capitalism failing people. And then we have a sense of self, right? That is tied for a group that was traditionally in power, but that's falling behind. So that's tied to the economic situation. We have a country that has always looked for scapegoats. We have all of these things sort of coming together to create this sort of crisis where everyone is looking around and going, why is everything so bad? And in that vacuum, there have stepped a number of people who are willing to say, well, I can tell you why it's bad. It's because of the weirdest people you can think of. What's the weirdest thing you can think of? Well, being trapped in the wrong body is pretty fucking weird, right? Does that make those people bad? No, of course not. But like, even trans people will be like, it's inherently hilarious that you're in the wrong body. Are you kidding? How fucking weird is that? Even trans comedians will make this observation, right? So if you're a reactionary, what's the weirdest fucking thing you can think of? Oh, the kids are shitting in litter boxes at school because they want to be trans furries.
That's That's number 2. What did I spend all of yesterday talking about, ladies and gentlemen? What did I say? It brings us back to that same thing. They'll hyper-focus on these random, absurd points that get retweeted from XYZ up and down. It falls into a Breitbart article that then gets shared. Then Jordan Peterson talks about it on the Daily Wire Plus, which means everybody got to talk about it on the Daily Wire Plus, which means you've effectively legitimized a story that you will never ever be able to chase the tail of, which means you're constantly a cat running around in a circle chasing your own tail when everybody's chasing their own tails. And if you have cats, you'll know. I swear, oh my god, I thought one of them was under me. I swear, if one of them motherfuckers gets in there. My cats are not like yours. My cats are fucking stupid, inbred morons. I have 9 cats in this house.
Oh my god.
It is 5 are babies. 5 are little babies. Okay. Like, they just had a litter. Yeah.
Okay.
But, like, it's one male cat that's not fixed because all the ASPCAs in places closed down during COVID.
Yeah.
And everybody else is booked for forever. This is one cat, Thor, that's just having a ball. Just put it that way. It's having a ball. So fuck that guy.
I love that for you. But okay, I can kind of wrap this up. I'll wrap this up.
Yeah, keep going.
So basically what I'm saying is that we have this sort of feeling where a lot of people are in free fall, right? And instead of going, okay, the reason why things are crumbling is because we are in an economic crisis, and the reason why we're in an economic crisis is that we have structured our society in a way where the people at the top get everything and we get crumbs, right? And we're destroying the middle class. So instead of actually looking to what the real problem is, we have a number of people that have stepped into this power vacuum that have gone, actually, it's the queers and the feminists, and actually, it's, you know, and who is pushing the queer feminist agenda? Well, actually, it's the Jews. And then there's also this thing of, like, we have people moving, we have immigration, because we've done a lot of really fucked up shit to other countries and destabilized them and caused, like, refugee crises, and we have completely fucked the Middle East, and we have completely fucked all of Latin America, all of Central and South America, all the fucking coups we did down there, where we took democratically elected leaders and we put in puppets that would answer to capital and fucked their countries, and how we've created an entire international drug market for the cartels that we support and we created, and we literally imported crack into the fucking ghettos, like, through the CIA, literally turning the other way, knowing that the Sandinistas were doing this shit. Like, I'm sorry. Wait, no, was it this? No, it was the Contras. I'm sorry, the Contras. Like, so we knew, we have created every step of the way. We have, instead of dealing with our fucked up economic system and our fucked up sense of hierarchy, we have made every situation worse. So now, when people are living these, like, fucked up lives where everything is terrible, instead of going, hey, maybe we should try to rearrange things in a way where it's more equitable and less people are suffering, we just go, damn, I wish the Jews weren't trying to get all the black and brown people into this country to have sex with our white women and turn all of our kids trans. And there's so many, like, angry, disenfranchised, disaffected dudes and middle-class white people that can't understand that their suffering is coming from an economic system that has abandoned them. So instead, because they don't have to deal with, like, legitimate social oppression, they just fall prey to this shit, and they just go, oh wow, I guess you're right, I guess it really is all these other people that are doing this thing to me. So that's why I think this current trans panic has feet, because I think that we are in the perfect storm of a rise in fascism, and it is always the most vulnerable people who are going to have the finger pointed.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
You said something and it bothered me.
What?
So I think you've known me. We haven't talked like this before,
Mm-hmm.
but we've talked.
Sure.
You said that we've reached a perfect storm of all these elements coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of all those ads that I was seeing that was getting passed through WhatsApp. I was gonna do a whole expose on it and then submit it to the FBI, but life don't work that way for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I was ending up with these things, but I was just finding them on sites, and they were just like a random Twitter post would lead to a WhatsApp chat, and like it would show the video, and I would click the WhatsApp chat, and then blah blah blah. A lot of them mentioned, we've talked about this before, especially with Sidney Powell, the perfect storm. The storm is coming.
Yeah, that's a QAnon
It made
phrase.
me, right, but it made me think, what if that's what they meant? Not that a literal, like, oh, we're gonna, drain the swamp, they hit it underneath all of that, but what if that was the key phrase? That the storm is coming. Because I believe that Stormfront is like the pivotal point within The Boys, which is the reference to the Nazi website. The storm is coming. Stay on the front lines. Like the Bored Ape Nazi Club thing already showed us that this happens. Like they do that on purpose. But it like really just made me, I guess I'm gonna use the phrase, it made me a little woker to like, wait a minute. Was this the storm that they were hyping up? And they wanted it to hit a fever pitch so we'd all focus. Well, that's what happens when the common citizens try it. Now you're going to watch the people with the money. You're going to watch the inner workings do it.
I think it depends on like what group of people are using it, right? Because there's definitely QAnon people that when they talk about the storm, they are so deep in it that they actually believe that there's going to be like a pedophile ring that gets busted. They actually believe that JFK Jr. and Donald Trump are going to come in and everyone's going to get arrested. They really do believe that. Now, are there absolutely people out there that for them the storm is actually like the day of the rope? Yeah, definitely. I do think that for some people the storm means like, I definitely think it means different things for different groups. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, just hypothesizing little thoughts here. So to re-round ourselves to the beginning of this conversation, I was effectively trying to get you to just explain in roundabout terms how it feels like being a white woman on the internet. Because like, I'm not gonna say you woke or whatever, but like, when to say something and when to not. But a lot of that is trained on your position as it looks to, as we talked earlier, your position to other people in a certain conversation, let alone them having 30 followers or let alone them literally only retweeting Newsmax shit. The general population has a natural aversion to hear a white person's take. Couple that with you being a woman, couple that with you having an OnlyFans, and instead of anybody ever actually engaging in the points that, and for the last couple of weeks, you've been making some pretty amazing points, I'm going to say. You only get the reply of, shut the fuck up, no, we're not buying the OnlyFans. How have you begun to approach, if any, having a personality on the internet, knowing that your default position might be somewhere near that? So, like, I asked this to FD Signifier a while back. You ever feel like people don't take you seriously on the internet? Why? Is the question I'm asking.
Yeah, I definitely feel that people don't take me seriously on the internet. And I think some of that is that I've said silly things. And I think some of that is, like, a lot of people don't understand that, like, a lot of the time I am joking. So there's definitely that. I think that as a woman who has the bimbo aesthetic and as a sex worker, it's like very, very, very hard for people to believe that I would be engaging in like dry, sardonic humor. Like they don't see that coming from me, right? And I've also definitely seen posts where people are like, wow, if she was kidding, she would be such a funny person. And I remember watching someone respond, she is serious about 100% of everything she says. She's such a psychotic bitch. And I was like, oh man, like, come on, guys. I do think that something that happens is like, even if I make a lot of like self-deprecating jokes, I make a lot of really silly jokes, like, and what I see a lot is people who follow me and like me will often rush to my aid to be like, no, queen, it's okay, don't you worry, and it's like, guys, I have thicker skin than you do, I promise, I'm joking, like, it's okay. But on the other foot of that is like, wow, look at this dumb bitch, I can't believe she believes that. And it's like, do you think there's a reason?
Yeah.
Maybe you find it hard to believe that I believe that? So yeah, I do think that misogyny colors my day-to-day interactions with people. I also think that the fact that I'm a woman in a sex worker on the internet is much, much, much more devastating to me than the fact that I'm like white on the internet. I think the fact that I'm white in our spaces is unfortunately still a boon to me. So I don't necessarily think like, okay, can you find spaces in lefty Twitter where people try to like overcorrect for social prejudices that exist in our greater society? Yeah, you can. But this is another thing that I kind of learned to pick my battles with, right? Like, are there some people out there, especially like white libs, that are like, but a black person said this, so we have to go with what they said. Yeah, of course they are. But again, this is like a couple of hundred people, right? So in general, my experience being white online is still a benefit to me. I think the thing that hurts me is being, not only being a sex worker, but being a sex worker who dares to have opinions and who dares to talk about politics. I think if I just ran a sex work account and I was just like, ooh, 30% off of my OnlyFans, here's a cute little new set I got, nobody would give a fuck. I wouldn't be bullied. These like Nazi accounts and these misogynist accounts, they wouldn't follow me. Or they would follow me probably, but they wouldn't bother me. It's the misogyny, really, at the end of the day, that makes my experience difficult. And I do think that, like, even in left Twitter, I have to be conscious of the fact that my whiteness makes people maybe not necessarily give me an air of authority, but it makes people pay more attention to me. I definitely think that there's black lefties who have a lot of really cool shit to say and who do their research and who are very intelligent, and they have communities. They do. People care about what they have to say, but they're smaller. Like, FD Signifier is one of those guys who's like a standout, right? He's one of the really big black video essayist leftists. How long has Kat Black been making content? For like 40 years, right? Kat Black has been on the internet since before the internet was a thing. And she still gets less attention than a lot of other video essayists that fucking blow up overnight. So I do think that, like, my whiteness makes me more visible. And that's something that I have to, like, think about and contend with. And so I imagine that if I was, like, a black female sex worker who had opinions, I don't think it would be
already
good. I think it would be a lot worse.
I think I've spoken about this so many times.
Yeah.
It's so amazing that when I entered this space, I realized that, and I even have a sound clip about this. Everything was fine. It was fine. And then somebody, Vosh, and it's like, it's always, I swear to God, I don't know how to escape this. Every problem that I ever hear about always leads back to that one discussion. Every problem I ever hear about, it always ends up at either the Kat Black and Vosh situation or the Professor Flowers and Vosh situation. It feels like everybody born their identity out of that. And my final question to you is it the fact that we deal with other people that are online that gives us the edge to understand how fucking stupid some people are? And is it wrong for us to... This you might have heard of, it's called the Highlander left. If you've ever heard this phrase before, this is what I'm describing. The Highlander left. A group of people who are generally despised by the smaller communities or the three-digit viewers up, right, and down left because we touch grass and a lot of our opinion, we don't engage to a level of seriousness that a lot of people with goofy behavior. Shout out Think Before You Sleep. One of the goofies to ever goofy.
Is incredible. I love his account. It's so good.
Like, oh my god.
He's insane.
Like, and if and like, because I would just want to say, like, this is the experience that I'm having. And that's why I want to host and offer a space to people to finally be able to say, hey, I feel this way about a certain thing. And I don't really feel like talking to the goofies about it, because I'm never ever gonna like get to a conclusion that make me feel good about having this conversation. But here, you can have this conversation and I can sit there and say, well, did you see it from that view? Did you happen to notice, like, they call me the paradigm shift for a reason. Regardless of that, as we keep being forced to engage with these goofies, what on earth are we going to do to end this cycle before it hits an absolute boiling point? And when I say boiling point, I'm sure you are quite aware that Twitch as a service is making some moves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all these competitors are starting to pop up that are clearly funded by bad money. They made it obvious, you know, it's Ponzi scheming to get a share of the Twitch revenue, because as everybody knows, if you want to host a live streaming service, you need servers. One way or another, as you steal from one another, there's a finite space for storage, somebody's going to crumble. Mm-hmm. As these spaces start to crumble, YouTube will probably be the shining beacon of light throughout all of it. At that point, I've told people plenty of times, if we don't prep our audiences for the next up, if I don't give you safe places to be, you're like, and this is my goal on Twitch, if I get 25,000 viewers, I've interacted and kept in contact with every person that I've ever like talked to. I can lead you in directions, so if I'm gone, there's somebody to take my place. Mm-hmm. I don't want my viewers to just splinter off and like 5 of them fall down a rabbit hole. No, I've given you streamers that are safe to watch for your specific needs and enjoyment, mm-hmm, that can continue the conversation. We're about to lose that avenue because bigger streamers, they got the millions already. They making the money. They leave the platform tomorrow. Where the fuck are all those other people going to find their enjoyment? That's how, like, the fallout of losing a site like Twitch or losing a site like Justin TV back in the day when that went down. Mm-hmm. What can we do to change the paradigm? How do we bring more attention to these safer places before this all cracks and crumbles? Because I promise you, I'm part of like the sim racing community, the car community, and like them motherfuckers got problems, and like that shit started to spill into the political sphere a couple weeks ago. And when these two, like, when I say communities, this is why I like having been on the internet since 2007. I'm a part of like every fucking community. I'm on all the forums. I'm still on Ichigo Sheet Music. Find me on Gaia Online. I'll be grinding. Like, all of these people use one of the 3 main sites: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Sure.
All of them use YouTube. When all of these communities start having less and less places, as we spoke about before, eventually we're going to have to be like, hey, everybody could be here, but if you like think white supremacy is cool, you should like take a hike. We're ending at a point where like we're squeezing people in because, oh, free speech, my free speech, don't ban me. Closer. No, my free speech, don't ban me. Closer. We're getting closer and closer and closer. How do we stop that from exploding as quote-unquote safe spaces to have these conversations? How do we change the paradigm?
I don't want to pretend like I have a really good answer for that. I don't.
Everyone answers that question the same way. That's what I'm trying. I'm not like saying it to be funny, but like that's the type of space I'm trying to host.
Yeah.
Where for the first time ever, it's okay to say, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. Like, That's fine, but I feel like every time we don't have an answer to something, oh, I got you. See, you don't know everything. You're fucking stupid. I knew that if I pressed you on one question, it's okay to be. I don't know. I don't know either.
So I think there's things that we can do. Now, do I know that they will have, like, the concrete consequences that I want them to have? No, of course I don't. But I think that there's things that we can do. And so, you know, I've spoken to quite a few people about this, where the issue of Vosh comes up. And I say this because you mentioned Vosh earlier, right? Mm-hmm. So, as everybody knows, I am still on good terms with Vosh. And I think a lot of people are like, how can you do this? How is this still possible, you know, because he does this, that, and the other that I think is really, you know, abhorrent. And you know, people will be like, I've seen you critiquing some of these actions online as well. But the thing is, like, I think that he has some really bad takes about some kind of important stuff. And I'll tell him that, right? But I think that we need people. Now, are we ever going to have, like, a unified left front? I don't think so. I really don't. Because I think all of us have such different needs and all of us have such different goals that it is really hard to have, like, all of the left unified. I do, however, think that it's important to have people in places like you and I, right? Because I consider myself to be a bridge builder. I think that you're a bridge builder as well. I do think that it is really important. Have you ever heard of the contact hypothesis or the contact theory?
I probably have, but refresh me.
So contact theory is the idea that when you are in contact with a group of people, you begin to be significantly less bigoted towards them. You hold you place much less stock in stereotypes about them. Like people who've traveled a lot usually aren't racist, right? Because they're like, actually, no, I've been around a lot of Muslims and they're actually fine. They're actually just people like you and I. Some of them are cool, some of them are shitty. No, actually, I've done, you know, this work in Africa, and actually black people are people, you know? So like, there are people who live near, like, people who live in LA, they live near a lot of Jews, and they're like, oh, Jews are people. so contact theory is the idea that, like, you know, the more you're around someone, the more you're like, oh, all that horrible shit I believed about you was, like, not true. And so this is something that happens on a larger scale, but it's something that I sort of try to implement in my personal life. I try to be the kind of person that's like, hey, I don't agree with what Vosh said about tactical misogyny, or hey, I actually think that he is kind of I think that he is kind of dismissive to and shitty of, like, experiences that are not his own, right? And I think that he can be kind of like, when black people are like, hey, you know, when you say this sort of thing, this is the impression it gets. I think he can be quick to be like, shut up, whatever, you know? And so I want to be someone who exists in different leftist communities, who is able to be like, hey, you know, maybe consider this, or hey, you know, I look like you, but why don't you listen to me? Because unfortunately, this is something, you know, we go back to, you're like, what is it like to be a white woman online? Well, unfortunately, because I'm white, other white people are more inclined to listen to what I have to say. It's the same way with, like, if you're talking about gender stuff, white men are more likely to listen to you because you're a man than they are to listen to me because I'm a woman, right? But so, and so there are ways that I think that we can utilize this sort of thing, right? Like, part of being an ally as a man is talking about to other men and being like, hey, you know, if you actually listen to women, this is what they tell you it's like, right? So this is part of being, I think, a white leftist, is like, hey, you know, if you actually listen to other black leftists, this is what they're saying. And so I think that, like, part of how do we make spaces less toxic is by ourselves being in different places and being in different communities and trying to be a figure that tries to dissolve the toxicity, tries to talk about hot button issues in ways where you're like, let's actually just think about this. Let's actually just break this down. Let's actually talk about it. You don't have to, if you have this certain opinion about these people, that's fine. Listen to me, right? So I think that this is a way that we can do this. That
I literally, when I say, I even talked about how literally has entered our lexicon because things have gotten to such an absurd point that millennials, just people basically, I'm going to even say 32 and younger, you have to say this literally happened, because at this point, everything feel fabricated. But everything else you said is exactly why I want to usurp this grind. I think, not even trying to be funny, I really do believe I'm that person. I really think that if I just had the audience to track, I could shut shit down.
Yeah.
Like I could really be the wall, and I've been learning how to approach the dynamic of saying I want all that attention on me. I'm a poor black kid from Harlem, currently dealing with I've talked about it before, a drug addict father. Like I'm currently like purely alone besides a couple people. My job's is kicking through. I'm trying to do the whole cinematography thing. I'm trying to be a poet, I'm trying to be an entertainer, put on a good show. And I just know that there's artistry, and then there's John Oliver, and then there's Seth Rogen, and then there's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then there's Michael Bay, and then there's Chris Nolan. And it's like I'm trying to blend that to be like, hey, I'm the one of those people where you hit my line, and I'm not going to I'm going to make you feel something.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you I'm not going to jump through a bunch of bullshit to get you there either. Like I'm gonna hit grand slams every time. You want TwitchCon to be better? Play my story that I've been building for 4 seasons as the goal, as the new head of. Let me represent Twitch as a brand. Let's call other people out. Let's set up events. Here for your charity peoples, we got money flowing in all the way. All right, get a creator popping, have them give back to their hood, run a couple of events, start giving out college scholarships, start giving out 10 grand to the winning team, schools here, this and that. There are plenty of ideas to fix places, and I say it out loud and it falls on deaf ears because my audience is full of working class people. My audience is full of people who need a safe space because they're trans. I'm not with the juicers. I'm not the popular kid on the block.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask them all the time to subscribe at the top of the hour. See now that, I was. My chat knows I'm king of the ad breaks. You see how quickly I could have said there's a whole conversation was an ad break, and you have no choice but to accept anyway. I'm trying to be that person, and this conversation has helped me understand that there are other people also wanting to be maybe that person. So I'm not really crazy for saying,
No.
hey, I'm that person.
No, you're not. I think that you have a really good energy. You've definitely, you've always had a really good energy. And I think what we need, a lot of what we need, is people who see the bigger picture, right? Because we get so caught up in this person said this, or maybe they have a slightly reactionary view here, or, actually I think that this is an illogical way of looking at this, or you put too much stock in standpoint theory, or I can't believe so-and-so tweeted this and we have this drama. There's so much of that. And I also engage with and participate in drama online, but I try to approach it from a perspective of hey, I think you did this thing. I think it was kind of fucked up. Why don't you DM me? Let's talk about it, right? And so you have this really good energy that you bring to things where you're you're not interested in essentializing people. You're not interested in castigating people. You're not interested in being insular. You're interested in forgiveness, you're interested in building, you're interested in learning, and you want to do something good. You have a bigger vision. And that's something that I see and I appreciate, and that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm yeah, you want to talk? Let's talk, right? Because I'm also at that point where you're if I have to go, what do you mean by that? I'll do it, but I'm not going to be happy about it. But I'm also at a point in my life where, I don't want my chat to be oh, are we doing blood sports? Because, that's not the person I am. That's not the energy that I want to bring to anything. And we have a lot of that in our circles. We have a lot of that on Twitter. We got a lot of that on Twitch politics. And it's not just from debate people either. Video essayists can be they're mean little snakes in the grass. And they go, ooh, woo, woo, I'm just so concerned about the behavior online. And then they turn around and they make hit pieces. So there's a lot of negativity, I think, in all aspects of the leftist culture that you and I are both in. And I think that a part of, like, how do we make our spaces safer is talking about what you're talking about. It's changing the culture. And that starts by being kind to each other and trying to understand each other.
I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I've had you here for an hour and 8 minutes. I have some exit questions. If you ever watched The Walking Dead, you might remember some of these exit questions. These are the same questions that Rick Grimes would ask any new survivor that he came upon. My first question to you.
Okay.
Did you feel safe in this conversation?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Is there any point during this conversation where you felt like I was trying to trap you, clip you out of context,
No.
or make you look bad in any light?
No, not at all. No.
The last question. Now, this is a joke. Please don't run with this. It's a theme. That's a thing I do on the show.
Okay.
As the tribal chief, I require something from any person that comes along my path.
Okay.
And I'm feeling it, but I kind of just need to hear it.
Okay.
I need you to acknowledge me.
Okay. Paradigm shift. I acknowledge you. We had a great talk. I really appreciate that you invited me on, actually. I think this was a really good talk, and like I said earlier, I genuinely believe this. I really like your energy. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This won't be the last time we talk. I promise you I will not be a stranger.
Yeah, that's good.
If you ever need to pop off, you're free to just hit me up. I'm generally here during this time regardless. So if you want to spend 15 minutes here or 2 hours here, you're always welcome. Welcome to the Paradigm Path, baby.
Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you to your viewers that stuck around, that were interested to hear what I had to say.
Yeah, shout out. We've been posting your links the entire time, but if you want to shout yourself out, that's fine with me.
So I am most active on, this is a disgusting sentence I'm about to say, and you guys will have to forgive me, but I am most active on Twitter, and I am at punishedmother on twitter.com, so you can find me there. And I also stream Merrick DeVille on Twitch, and I believe you can find me at Merrick DeVille on YouTube as well. I've streamed twice this week. It's crazy. I'm almost back in the game. We'll see if I stream again for the next 6 months. We'll see.
It's been a pleasure having you, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. I hope your air quality situation
Right,
gets better.
yo, my friend just popped in here, and he was like, people still outside on the stoop smoking. Like, exactly, yo, it's really crazy. Yo, New Yorkers don't know how to do shit, yo. I swear to God, we dumb as fuck. I swear to God, yo. Not even on no funny shit. We just really be wilding for no reason. But yeah. We gonna see how that feels. I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thanks for trusting me.
Mwah. Oh my goodness! That was cute. That was fun. That was cute. Okay. Okay. Oh, Tyrannex. No. I was not putting you on the spot. Oh God, what is this? Uh-oh. Oh no! Oh no, what is this clip? What is this clip? This is gonna get me in trouble. I can already tell. I can already tell this is a clip that's gonna get me in trouble. Let's see. Okay. Great. Love it. So good. Okay. Thanks, Roxy. Surely no one will take that out of context, and I will not get in any trouble for that. Oh, Tiernex, thank you for giving Talisman a sub. I really appreciate that. Let's see, what have we gotten today? We've gotten 1... Yeah, we've gotten 2. Wait, did you give yourself a sub on the website as well? You did! Okay, so we are actually at... We're actually at 3 subs. No, it's okay. You guys didn't need to hear the clip. You didn't need to know anything about that. That's fine. That's totally fine. You did not need to hear any of that mess. Just someone clipping me saying stuff about Jews and breast milk ice cream. It's no big deal. No big deal, guys. My free speech. Yeah. He's great. He's great. You guys should go follow him. You should go follow his Twitch. Yeah, I love that he was like, I love that he just opened. He was like, I don't give a fuck about free speech. I gotta get ahead of these freaks. Like, everything he said was so funny. Oh my goodness. Oh, so we need to talk about, that's cute. We need to talk about this Elon Musk thing, actually. Here, let's see. So this is what I was talking to him about. So this guy, I don't, stupid fucking name. So he posts the, like, this is what I was telling you guys, the, like, you can do the adrenochrome. You can do adrenochrome, or you can hate the Jays, which means the Jews, which way Western men. So when I first saw this, and then, you know, Elon Musk is like, wow, Gibson is really that buff these days. When I first saw this, I was like, that's really fucked up. But I wanted to make sure that it was real, right? So I went and I checked. There's only one. Oh, it's because I was checking to see who that guy was because he quote tweeted me. Okay. So let's go see that tweet's real, right? Did he No, he didn't delete it. It's still right here. So this tweet is real. You guys can see it right here. Okay. So, I was curious, right? Obviously, this is like QAnon Nazi posting. Nobody needs that explained. Everybody here knows that. But I was curious as to what this conversation was. So I was like, okay. So I click on this. Obviously, they're talking about Mel Gibson. Because someone was like, actually, there's like a series of other photos of Mel Gibson that he could have quoted. But he wanted to respond to that one instead. So I was like, okay, where are these other photos of Mel Gibson? Let's follow this thread. We'll follow these quote tweets. We'll see where it goes. So I click on this and it's like, oh, he looks amazing for his age. Okay. So I thought it was just going to be like a normal ass picture of Mel Gibson. It's not. Look, it's this same guy. 3 × 10 ADL reprimandation. 5x5 Holocaust denials, 7x3 rabbi bashing. Those are sets. No, I know those are sets, because what they're doing is they're responding, because they're talking about his physique, right? So they're joking that that's his workout. Those are the sets that he does. But it's all like virulently anti-Semitic stuff. Someone find me his workout routine. Oh wow, it's another tweet by this guy. Holy shit. So this one says, anti-Semitism increases testosterone confirmed. So this guy has made 3 tweets now about like virulently, explicitly anti-Semitic stuff. So if you wanted to be really annoying, if you wanted to be really, really, really annoying, you could look at that first tweet and you could go, well, you know, you guys spend a lot of time online, you know, Elon Musk is older, Elon Musk is not up on all of the dog whistles, maybe he just doesn't know. If you wanted to be really annoying, right? If you wanted to make disingenuous arguments, you could say, maybe he doesn't know what the J's are. They didn't say the word Jew, maybe he just doesn't know these dog whistles. If you wanted to piss me off, you could definitely say that. However, this completely fucking falls apart when you go, ADL reprimandation, Holocaust denials, rabbi bashing. Anti-Semitism increases testosterone confirmed. And it's like, yeah, dog. I'm sorry, but there is no like, oh, it's kind of like not clear here what's going on, you know, these are like, oh, these are dog whistles, maybe normie people, maybe the normies who touch grass, well, they just don't know, you're so online. Dog, no. No. It's like, these are not dog whistles. This is explicit. This is explicit anti-Semitism, explicit Jew posting. You've got to be kidding me here. And like, he knows. He has over 100 million followers. He owns the website. Like, he knows that whatever he tweets and whatever he responds to is going to get 1 million eyeballs on it. So even if he didn't see these other tweets, he knows better than to just respond to stuff randomly without checking out the conversation that's happening. And if he doesn't, he has no excuse, and he should, because anyone in his position should. And I also think this sort of like, oh, well, maybe he just didn't know, like, I think this really falls flat when we think about the kind of stuff he's been replying to in the past. How, like, 2 weeks ago, you know, someone was like, oh, what the media shows you. And it's, like, talking about how it's like a meme that it's like, oh, what the media shows you. And it's like, you know, white on black crime, and then they're like, but what's the truth? And it peels out, and it talks about how black on white crime is supposed to be like way crazy higher, it's supposed to be like super insane, and he's like, wow, this is concerning, why would the mainstream media ignore this? And you're just like, this is like virulently anti-black, like racist garbage, and he's just like, this is very concerning, I wonder why the media is ignoring this. So when he's like responding to shit like that and boosting people, yeah, many such cases. This is just something that happened 2 weeks ago, right? So when we have a menagerie of instances like this, it's really, really, really hard for me to believe that Elon Musk did not know what he was doing when he responded to and I quote, "You can do adrenochrome or you can hate the Jays." Which way, Western men? When Mel Gibson, by the way, is known for being an anti-Semite and going on anti-Semitic rants. Everyone knows this about Mel Gibson. Hasn't he been doing this since, the 90s, actually? Someone here correct me, because, I was a child in the 90s, but isn't the first time that Mel Gibson got pulled over shit-faced, and the first time he ever did the fucked up rant about Jewish people? Because he's done it a couple of times, right? Like a few times now. Wasn't the first time that happened in the fucking 90s? Like, we've known this about this man for 30 years now. I wonder what the Jays could mean in reference to the known anti-Semite who's been a known famous anti-Semite for 30 fucking years now. I wonder what it could be. Come on. Come on. The Jews are responsible for every war in the world. That's a real quote. Okay, hold on. We're gonna look this up. You guys like that keyboard sound? Okay. So this is an article from The Guardian in 2006. You need to register. I don't have to do anything. Are you kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. You think a paywall is gonna stop me? Are you joking? It's gonna take a minute though, because the paywall will temporarily stop me. But we're gonna reroute it, and we're gonna look it up in an archive. Okay? I think there's video of him saying it. Is site chat? Oh no, you can be in site chat. I have site. Where is site chat actually? I just need to have it pulled up. There we go. Isaroro, thank you. Is that how you say it? Do you say Isaroro? I see you in site chat. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, but this is an article from 2006. Where the title of the article is Mel Gibson apologizes for anti-Semitic abuse. Are you fucking kidding me, dog? Like, star's outburst after alleged drunk driving. LA police accused of covering up remarks. 2006, y'all. That's almost 20 years that we've known that he's a raging anti-Semite. I wonder what the tweet could possibly mean when it says, hate the Jays. I guess we'll never know. Okay. Don't forget his violent abuse of his partner at the time? I didn't know that. Oh.
I remember like 15 years ago, I was at one of those big Hollywood parties. She's referring to Mel Gibson. I was with my friend Jay. He made a really horrible gay
Can you
joke,
guys hear
and
that?
somehow it came up. This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Netflix. Go to netflix.com/. What
All right, we'll try
Winona
this
Ryder
again.
told.
Sorry, third time's the charm.
This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Netflix. Go to netflix.com/TYT for your free trial membership.
Wow. 12
Winona Ryder
years
had
ago.
an interview with GQ magazine, and during her interview, she was talking about her past experiences with Mel Gibson, which is interesting because, of course, Mel Gibson is in the news for saying racist things to his ex-girlfriend, Grigorieva. So what Winona Ryder told the magazine is that I remember like 15 years ago, I was at one of those big Hollywood parties and he was really drunk. She's referring to Mel Gibson. I was with my friend who's gay. He made a really horrible gay joke and somehow it came up that I was Jewish. He said something about oven dodgers, but I didn't get it.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I didn't
Wow!
get it. I'd never heard that before. It was just this weird moment. I was like, he's anti-Semitic and he's homophobic. No one believed me.
Well, Winona, I got news for you. They believe you now. And
Wow. That's so wild. Jesus. So wait, that was 12 years ago. And Winona Ryder is saying that this happened 15 years ago. So, yeah, at least 27 years now, it's kind of been open that this is like a terrible person who's anti-Semitic. I've never heard someone say oven dodgers before. Wow. I guess an oven dodger is a Jewish person that survived the Holocaust, or maybe one of their descendants. I don't really know, because that's a fucking insane thing to say that I've never heard anyone else say in my entire life. Literally never heard of that before. God, we're all learning new slurs together, I guess. Jesus Christ. At least they're not denying the Holocaust. I guess. Who said oven dodgers? Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson referred to a living Jewish person as an oven dodger. We're learning and growing together. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, let's see. Oh, we're gonna counter that with a wholesome pickup line for today? Okay. So Swole Tadpole, this is your first time in chat, which that's a great name, by the way, says, uh-oh, time for the wholesome pickup line of the day. Did you know that in some languages the word love is spelt with 5 letters because it's incomplete without you? Okay. Swole will return with more wholesome pickup lines of the day. That was good. I actually didn't read ahead. That was very good. That's very cute. Thank you. Thank you for popping in to say that. I don't want to learn and grow in this direction. No, take me back. I don't want to grow this way. Not like this. So true, bestie. Ooh. Man. Okay. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So, I'm gonna give you guys... Sorry, I think I accidentally muted myself. I'm gonna put on a bow video for you guys to watch. I'm gonna give you guys instantly mutes myself. I'm gonna give you guys a bow video while I go to the bathroom, because I know he doesn't mind, and because he's great. Let's talk about Ukraine, water in a breach. Okay, so do you guys know... I gave you guys silence to contemplate. True. Do you guys know what this is about? So, just as a primer, there was a dam in Ukraine. I believe it's a dam that burst. So let's see. Yeah, here we go. And it's near a power plant, I believe, or maybe like a nuclear plant. Yeah, and they're both blaming each other right now. Right, so it's near a hydroelectric power station, and it's the Kakovia Dam. So it's kind of a big deal right now. Tucker Carlson covered it on his new Twitter show, and he's blaming Ukraine, because of course he is. So let's hear what Bo has to say about it.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we are going to talk about Ukraine and the water and what happened and who's likely behind it and all of that. Anybody has anything to really gain from it. Okay, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about,
That should be better.
a pretty major dam in Ukraine has breached. Water is coming through. It is causing evacuations downstream, and people are having to get out of the way. It has the potential to be really bad. Now, Ukraine is saying Russia did it. Russia is saying Ukraine did it. Nobody in the long term has anything to gain from this. Not really. There are short-term gains. There are a lot of analysts right now saying there's no way Russia would do this. It's bad for their side long term. Yeah, I don't like to make the same mistake over and over again. I have a catalog of videos detailing things that would be really bad ideas for Russia to do that they later did. But we don't actually know yet. Okay, so what would Russia have to gain from it? Number one, throwing Ukraine off balance prior to a potential counteroffensive, assuming that they would be more interested in rescuing people than pursuing their military aims. Another one would be moving people who Russia believes are sympathizers to the Ukrainian side out of the area. Just removing them so they can't assist. Now, neither one of those would really justify this, because long term, this is a horrible idea. Assuming that Russia is able to hold on to this general area and Crimea for any length of time, they're going to need drinking water. A whole lot of it comes from here. But that doesn't mean they didn't do it. Okay, from the Ukrainian side, what do they have? Number one's the same. Throwing the Russians off balance prior to a counteroffensive. Making them move stuff. Yeah, okay. It's there, but that's a pretty negligible gain, realistically. That is not something that is worth the damage that this is likely to cause to their own country and to their own people. The other one that people are throwing out is, well, it cuts off drinking water to Crimea. I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to have an impact there. But Ukraine has been able to do that for a long time. That option is something that Ukraine doesn't seem like they're going to pursue. Yeah, Russia currently has it occupied, but there's a lot of Ukrainians there. That's thus far not really how Ukraine has prosecuted this war. The other question here, is this a crime as far as the laws of conflict? Maybe. Probably. like many things, it depends on intent. You know, everybody right now is saying they did it, they did it. We have to keep in mind that it might have been an actual accident or negligence, and it wasn't actually intended. So you have that as an option. A thing the media is certainly going to play into is the water here helps provide cooling for a nearby nuclear plant. The people that I have talked to have kind of indicated that, not that it's not a worry, because they're concerned, but kind of like, there's a plan for this, we got this, don't worry about it at the moment. Official sources are saying there is no imminent risk, but it's a concern. So they have time to kind of figure things out, and it certainly appears that they've already thought about how to deal with it. So that's what we know at time of filming. More information will certainly come out. This is an ecological disaster on top of all of the military conflict stuff. This is going to be huge. This is going to be a major issue for years and years and years to come, which is why it seems unlikely that Ukraine would do this intentionally, because it's something they're going to have to clean up. And the gain that it gives them, it's not really a lot. It doesn't give them a massive edge here. Not one that I think would justify this. So that's all we have right now. Expect this to be an ongoing story, and more information to come out, more and more accusations to fly, and undoubtedly there's going to be a lot of sensationalism. It doesn't need sensationalism. This is going to be pretty bad. It can be objectively reported. There will be plenty of drama when it comes to trying to get people out of the way of this. Don't need to make it worse. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Air quality alerts were issued across multiple U.S. states and cities Tuesday as well as today, as thick, dark smoke from Canada's hundreds of blazing wildfires blanketed the...
Okie dokie. What does this say? Be right back, getting cat? What? Has that been on my stream the whole time? Chud is here? What does that mean? Oh, I see. I see. I'm very scatterbrained today. That's okay. What is this?
It's all on the internet for me.
What is this? Is it supposed to be that, at that timestamp? Okay. Got it. Yeah, we can take a look at this. I gotta fix my headphones real quick. let's make sure. I gotta get the audio output set up real quick. That's annoying. Let me see if you guys can hear it this way.
Women's football is being plagued by ACL injuries.
You can hear it that way, correct? I don't have access to that option on my on this other scene, which is really annoying. So we'll just go ahead and remove that, and we'll have to add it again, which is very annoying. But let's try it again. Yeah, there we go.
Not only that, but
Okay.
players are succumbing to them at a quicker rate than seems to be the case.
Okay, so why do women suffer more ACL injuries than men? Okay, we'll take a look at this.
Women's football is being plagued by ACL injuries. Not only that, but players are succumbing to them at a quicker rate than seems to be the case in the men's game. But what's the reason for this? And what can be done about it? When England
Somehow I don't think it's because they're weak and have soft bones, but thank you for your input, Jar Jerk.
captain Leah Williamson ruptured her anterior cruciate ligament in March, she became the latest high-profile female footballer to join the long list of players who've sustained an ACL injury. 5 of the 20 nominees for the 2022 Ballon d'Or Féminin, Alexia Putellas, Beth Mead, Vivian Miedemar, Caterina Macario, and Marie-Antoinette Katoto all sustained an ACL injury in 2022.
I'm sorry, but imagine being named Marie Antoinette. I'm sure there was zero bullying that accompanied that.
Putellas' injury was particularly cruel, as the 2-time Ballon d'Or winner missed the Women's European Championship after rupturing her ACL on the eve of the tournament. Manchester United defender Aoife Mannion has also suffered 2 ACL injuries in recent years. The Athletics Women's Football Podcast spoke to Fortius Clinic knee surgeon and ACL specialist Andy Williams. He completed Manchester City winger Chloe Kelly's ACL surgery in 2021 and Manchester United defender Aoife Mannion's ACL surgery in 2022. Williams discussed the physiological and environmental factors that put female footballers at greater risk of sustaining these injuries, where future research in this area needs to focus on, and what can be done to prevent these ruptures. Women do have a significantly higher risk of ACL rupture than men, and that risk is probably 7 times greater. It's immense, really, Williams said. But what are some of the factors? Well, most obviously, some players can just be unlucky. Injury can strike any footballer at any time. But a more layered explanation is that the standard of women's football has risen rapidly in a very short space of time, as too has the intensity of competition and the resulting fatigue among players. Williams also describes a lessening difference between men's and women's football, but one which is still a factor. In the men's game, he says, the boys with talent are usually picked out by the time they're 10 years of age, and they receive the best training and become very good athletes very early. The athleticism protects them from injury. By contrast, while the development of young women's players is evolving across the game, previously players spent far less time in academies and fewer years being built into what Williams describes as well-to-put-together athletes. And a further biological explanation relates to knee structure. Williams explains that women tend to be a little less bow-legged than most of the male players. If you look at a male team, most of the players have bowed legs. Women tend to have straighter or occasionally knock knee alignment, and that's a risk factor. Within the middle of the knee joint at the end of the femur, which has a notch in it, that notch might be smaller in women, and that's where the ACL lives. If that notch is smaller, it means there's less room for excursion of the ligament, and it's more likely to get chopped by the femur moving onto it. And speaking to Sky Sports in 2022, Dr. Emma Ross, a female health specialist, also spoke of the role played by the
If they say that women have soft bones, I don't think that they're going to say women have soft bones.
menstrual cycle. When estrogen is elevated in the menstrual cycle, and that happens in about the second week, it can affect the stability of joints. Speaking to the Inside the WSL column, Dr. Stone explained that it can interfere with the collagen in our joints and can create looser, more lax joints. A loose joint is therefore less stable and more inclined to injury.
They didn't say soft bones, but she did say soft joints. No! Oh no! You fucking called it. You guys manifested this. Stop. I'm sorry. Ladies, they just have softer joints.
The full link between the menstrual cycle and increased injury risk isn't fully understood yet. Similarly, while women's feet differ in a variety of ways, and playing in boots made specifically for men also carries an injury risk, the effect upon ACL injuries specifically is hard to determine. Ahead of the 2023 World Cup in Australia and New Zealand,
This is fucked up. You guys gotta stop saying that the vagina bone throws everything off balance. Yeah, sorry, it all just comes down to the vagina, just making things softer, you know? This is like, stop. This is serious. Stop.
New Zealand, manufacturers are releasing women-only boots, but further research and development is still required. For players who do suffer ACL injuries, there's a further risk post-recovery. ACL reconstruction surgery involves taking a graft, and for football players, Andy Williams, the Fortuitous Clinic knee surgeon, prefers to take that from the front of the knee, a process known as a patella tendon graft. But he says women have smaller patella tendons as a physical issue, because they also typically join the athlete level later. When they were growing, they didn't have the stresses that caused reaction from the body to produce bigger, stronger tissue. So there is a practical issue in that everything is small.
Okay, you are not allowed to say that the penis works as a stabilizing wing on a plane. Stop. You're not allowed to say that the penis works as a stabilizing wing. Jesus
So what can
Christ.
Well, the growth of women's football and the booms in attendance and interest clearly warrant greater diligence surrounding this issue, and data is a priority for Williams. There's a lot of data on men's sports, but women's data is really weak. When I've done my research to follow up on what happened to players after injury, it's all on the internet for men. You can find what happened to a 16-year-old at a certain club. How long did they last? When did they get back? But the women just vanish. He also describes the need to better protect players' knees, saying that a risk of ACL rupture or...
So this is really interesting. I really like that he mentions this. This is something that we talk about a lot in, you know, when we talk about feminist issues, especially like the issue of how women are treated in the medical fields, in the medical industry, in research. And this can actually be tied. I'm laughing too hard. I gotta watch it again later. Yeah. You guys gotta stop talking about how the penis is a literal spoiler. Please stop. This is very serious. Okay. Okay. Enough penis posting. All right, guys. So something that is actually really serious is this sort of like lack of research into women's bodies, into women's medical situations, and this does come back around to what he said about, you know, women's menstrual cycles. It's like we actually don't really know very much about endometriosis. We don't really know much about a lot of women's reproductive health issues, and this is because of situations like this, where we talk about, like, you know, you can find all this research and you can find studies done on, you know, a 16-year-old soccer player at what club, but we sort of leave women out of a lot of medical research. Yeah, so I think it's really interesting, and it's really good that he brought that up.
They last. When did they get back? But the women just vanish. He also describes the need to better protect players' knees.
I am acknowledging your trans vagina bone penis joke, okay? Thank you.
Saying that a risk of ACL rupture or re-rupture is bad mechanics when athletes land. Women will tend to drop their knees inwards and effectively describe a knocked-kneed position. That's a risk factor in men as well, but it's much more common in women. If we can work out how to counter that and train female athletes to deal with that as second nature without thinking about it, it might protect them. Until further research can be concluded, it's
I feel Male Rights USA says, I feel like in any area where we don't know much about women, we don't know much about men either, because it's like 50% of the population. So if you're saying like, oh, we didn't have the funding to research that, then that just shows we probably haven't had that much funding in the subject at all. So, this doesn't actually work. This idea doesn't actually work. We've done so much research. We have poured so much money into male infertility, into stuff about like, you know, Viagra, why your dick doesn't work. We do a ton of research into things that help men's sexual needs and men's reproductive issues, but we know very, very, very little about things like endometriosis. We don't really do a ton of research into things like POTS or into things like PCOS. So no, it's not that like we don't really know much about men in this field either. It's just that we really have not committed a ton of time and research into women's specific health problems. And a big reason for that is because women were gate-kept out of medical research for many, 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 many decades.
Imperative that overload and fatigue are avoided, and that, according to Andy Williams, players
Men don't have uterine linings, for example.
spend more time in the gym, getting
So
strong,
true.
doing drills that will heighten their ability to play safely, shock absorb safely, and remain stable, rather than simply using football to become a good footballer. Previously, people didn't invest their time and effort because it boils down to money, he says. The male players are often viewed as major financial assets, so they get protected, whereas the female players are often an oversight or second best, and it's really unfair. Despite their sport's booming popularity and the obstacles that have been placed in their way in the past, this is clearly an area in which women footballers are treated as second-class citizens. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel.
Hold on,
The
hold on.
Athletic is an area in which women footballers are treated best, and it's really unfair. Despite their sport's booming popularity and the obstacles that have been placed in their way in the past, this is clearly an area in which women footballers are treated as second-class citizens. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you for sending that, Ternex. So what is this? Wednesday. For her own good, 2 centuries of the expert's advice to women. Okay, cool. I will definitely, I'll definitely check this out. Let's see. This women's history classic brilliantly uncovers the constraints imposed on women in the name of science. Since the 19th century, professionals have been invoking scientific expertise to prescribe what women should do for their own good. Among the experts' diagnosis and remedies, menstruation was an illness requiring seclusion. So true. It's time for your period. You have to go isolate yourself in the woods. Please don't be near any other men. It will put a curse on them. So true. Pregnancy, a disabling condition, and higher education, a threat to long-term health of the uterus. From clitoridectomies, to tame women's behavior in the 19th century, to the censure of a generation of mothers as castrators in the 1950s, doctors have not hesitated to intervene in women's sexual, emotional, and maternal lives. Even domesticity, the most popular prescription for a safe environment for women, spawned legions of scientific experts. Hold on. Education, a threat to the uterus? Hey, what's up, baby? You gotta go? Okay, cool. Have fun at work. Thank you for stopping by. I know. Hey. You gonna be calm? You gonna be calm? You wanna say hi to the people? Do you wanna say hi to the people? Say hi, Caesar. Oh, yeah. What are you thinking about? This is Caesar. Did you just call him the tangerine terrorist? No. He's not a terrorist. He's a mommy's boy. He's a sweet little mommy's boy. His brother's a terrorist. You can count his brain cells on one finger. That's true. That's very true. That's true. That's pretty true. That's true. No, you're the good child. You're the good child. Yeah. You're not smart enough to do a terrorism. Bibbin is a rude dude. Beebim is not a rude dude. So Beebim is too old and like sedentary to do a terrorism. Caesar is too much of a sweet little mama's boy to do a terrorism. Oh. It's his brother Ernan. He's an inpurgent? No! No! You can't call him an inpurgent. That's so stupid. I love it. That's so good. You know, they're calling you bad names on screen. Yeah, they're saying you're a tangerine terrorist. You gonna let them say that about you? Yeah, Beebim is too brain damaged to do terrorism. That's true. Oh, Caesar. Okay. So I actually want to see what this is about. Wrangler Star. I want to look up these people saying that women getting educated will destroy their uteruses.
Charcoal, or at least a little bit of it that falls
Oh, it's this guy.
Man shouldn't. I eat the charcoal, or at least a little bit of it that falls out of my wood stove in the morning. And the reason I do that is I grew up hunting with my grandfather, and we used to build small warming fires. And I noticed that at nighttime, the animals would come around and eat the charcoal from the fire ring. And when I asked my granddad about that, he said, yes, they understand that that's very rich in minerals. A Douglas fir tree can bring rich dirt or deep minerals 150 feet out of the ground and provide them in a very concentrated form. When you burn this firewood, all of the biomaterial burns away. What's left behind are these rich minerals. Something to think about. I eat the charcoal, or at least a little bit of it that falls out of my wood stove in the morning. And the reason I do that is I grew up hunting with my
No. No. He's not serious. He is serious, isn't he? He's really serious. This motherfucker eats charcoal. This motherfucker eats charcoal. Something tells me he didn't get vaccinated. He did not get vaccinated. This guy used to make and still does incredible weird content dealing with a wide range of subjects, mostly dude content, but he has recently gone off the rails and believes there's an incoming race war. Yes. So I actually learned about this guy's existence like maybe a couple of months ago, because he said something completely insane, and that was how I found his channel. I can't even remember anymore what it was, but it was some like, oh, you're a weird ANCAP like prepper, like racist prepper dude, and when I posted it I was like, what the fuck is this? And people were like, oh, that's Wrangler Star. He used to be like an actual homesteader, like used to do like actual prepping, and now he's just gotten like really weird and reactionary and isolated and just like, you know, old and paranoid and racist. So I've heard about this guy before. This is like, wow. Does he think that his body breaks the charcoal down? Does he think that the charcoal has like the same kind of bioavailability for him that it does for animals? Like, I don't know. That's very interesting. Okay. Oh, what is this?
If Proho were to take an empty water bottle and fill it up halfway with black oil-based paint, then add a little used motor oil, and for good measure, a few pinches of sand, and then stretch a water balloon over the opening, and then lob this party favor, or let's say an occupying force, goodness, that oil-based paint is difficult to deal with, hard to wash off. And that oil, well, it's slippery too. And the sand, goodness, it plays havoc on face shields. Not so good for optics either. Act accordingly.
I'm sorry,
if
what?
Proho were to take an empty water...
Okay. We're gonna watch that one more time, because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what we were getting into. We're gonna watch this one more time. So, he's got an empty water bottle, and he's about to put a funnel in it and put some stuff in it. So let's watch this one more time.
Bottle and fill it up halfway with black oil-based paint. Then add a little used motor oil, and for good measure, a few pinches.
Does anyone know if there's a reason why the motor oil is used? And how do you get used motor oil? Okay. Wait, hold on. Oil is something that you... I'm sorry, I'm having like a... Okay, wait. I have so many questions here. So you put oil into your car. You can then get it back out of your car? I'm sure for a lot of people, this might seem like a dumb question, but I have never... I know it's a lubricant, but I thought the car used it up. I thought you just kept putting, like, new, fresh oil. Yeah, I thought that the oil evaporates. I thought that the oil change was when you just put new oil in. This is a very dumb question. No one ever taught me anything about cars. I thought when you put new oil into the car, like the heat or I thought the oil was consumed somehow. Okay. Much like olive oil, you just press the car and squeeze the oil out. Okay. So, it's not called an oil refill? Okay. You drain it. Okay. The car burns it up, it loses viscosity, it has to be let out. Okay, but so you guys are telling me different things now. You just said the car burns it up. So does the car burn it up and the oil disappears, or does the car collect the oil and you have to change it? You put a pan under the car and loosen a bolt? Okay, so burns it out and it degrades. Okay. So he went and got, okay, this is making... It degrades it gets thicker and dirtier and darker. Okay. So as we can all guess at this point, I have always had other people change my oil. Okay. Burning lowers the quality, not the quantity. Okay. All right. Okay. This all makes much more sense now. So he has collected some old, dirty, motor oil, some black paint, and for good measure, a few pinches of...
sand, and then stretch a water balloon over the opening. And then lob this party favor, or let's say an occupying force. Goodness, that oil-based paint is difficult to deal with, hard to wash off. And that oil, well, it's slippery too. And the sand, goodness, it plays havoc on face shields. Not so good for optics either. Act accordingly.
I would never show you anything on this broadcast that could be used to upset or otherwise inconvenience members of the armed forces of the police. Things that could be used to annoy the armed enforcement wings of our government. This is all coming from a Wrangler star. This is not coming from me. Everyone should be extremely responsible with how they use this information. I am not endorsing. Jesus Christ. I am not endorsing this information, and I am not responsible for what anyone does with this clip. Fuck. You guys are trying to get me in trouble. They're not, I promise you they're not telling me what are in these links. My chat made me watch this, okay? Jesus Christ. You guys are gonna get me in trouble. Ah! Can I show okay, I could probably show guns on Twitch. That's... Yeah, next week, how to make napalm in your kitchen. I do not endorse this activity. I will show you step by step how to do it, though. Anyway, everybody order the Anarchist Cookbook. Did I mention ACAB, guys? Ah! Ah! I didn't know what I was opening. Okay. So this man lives in Portland. He's completely insane, and he lives outside of Portland. I guess we're just gonna watch, like, totally insane Wrangler Star videos now. Dog, why do you need 7 guns and ceramic body armor? Okay, so let's count how many guns. Okay, we have 1 handgun. I think that's the same handgun? A ceramic, so ceramic plates in his body armor, okay. A fucking rifle, okay. Alright. Dog, you live in Portland, not Fallujah. What is this? What is going on here? Oh my god, why are people like this? Yeah, now I'm ready to go get my Starbucks! What the fuck, dog? What the fuck? Yeah, I see why you feel like you have to do all this. It's because you're waking up every day and eating fucking charcoal and it's poisoning your brain! Man. That's wild. We gotta watch more of these. We gotta watch more of these. How many more of these are there?
This is a United Nations peacekeeping helmet. It's constructed out of level 3A plus armor. That will effectively stop all handgun rounds up to 44 Magnum, including 12-gauge shotgun. What it will not stop is 5.56 and pretty much every North American hunting round known to man.
Jesus!
Act accordingly.
What the fuck?
Nations peacekeeping helmet.
Okay.
It's constructed out of level.
I'm sorry, I fucking disavowed. Like, straight up, not memeing, I disavowed. That's crazy. That's a fucking insane thing to say. Okay. Where are you gonna be running into... Okay. Where in America are you gonna be running into UN peacekeepers? Is he endorsing shooting them with rifles? Are you joking me? He's like, oh yeah, 5.56, gotta kill those UN peacekeepers. Wink. Not in, you know, just act accordingly. What are you talking about? Eat less charcoal. Holy Lord. Those feral hogs are not gonna hurt themselves. Good God, what? That's an insane... How is this on YouTube? He seriously thinks the globalists are going to start a race war and send in the UN to kill homeowners? I don't know if you're memeing. I think it's, like, really possible that you're, like, not memeing right now. This is a very old conspiracy theory. The New World Order will take over the US via the UN. Yeah, but, like, haven't they been saying this every year for decades and it never happens? Like, what are you talking about, dog? Why do they want to kill you? Because you want to live in the woods and be racist? They don't care about that. That's everyone in Oregon that's not in Portland. What are you talking about, dog? They're not coming for you. They don't care. This is so wild. Okay, yeah, we gotta watch more of these. Thank you for sending me these. These are
Welcome
so
back
good.
to TradCon dinner, where my conservative, traditional, submissive, homeschooling wife makes me amazing meals. What's on the plate tonight? Is that ribeye?
Steak and baked potato and a little bread and chocolate. And lest anyone complain about the vegetables, they are offered.
More precious than rubies, this one. Welcome back to TradCon dinner, where my conservative, traditional, submissive, homeschooling wife makes me amazing meals. What's on?
Sir, that's beef in tinfoil. Oh my god. This is breaking my brain. I love this. He's like, look at this delicious meal. It's like, it's a piece of, like, really super cooked, like, well done steak next to a piece of tinfoil, unbuttered bread.
Plate tonight.
Look at this. Unbuttered bread that looks really crispy. And no vegetables.
Anyone complain about the vegetables, they are offered.
He's like, I don't eat vegetables because eating vegetables is gay. Fuck. Okay. Alright, dog.
More precious than rubies, this one.
Okay, sorry, that's how I felt. Oh, you know what? We need to get the screaming. We gotta bring the screaming pillow back. If you guys are new here, we used to have a screaming pillow for situations like this. Jesus. Eating vegetables are for soft men, and he's a hard man. My conservative, submissive, homeschooling wife. Look, she made me a piece of well-done beef next to a crumpled thing of tinfoil. Ugh. Is charcoal a vegetable? Yeah, this is so scary. I do not like this at all. Okay. Woo! Thank you, Talisman. That is horrifying.
In today's episode of TradCon Lunch, we actually have the TradCon here. What's it like being a TradCon wife?
Well, I think this is breakfast, unless I get to skip a meal today. You know, I'm just trying to make you happy. I don't know anything about TradCon. We make each other happy, right?
Well, beautiful. We have bacon, turkey bacon, our organic eggs, and peeled potato hash browns.
That's right. A little bread.
There you go. What's the secret to a man's heart?
So I can't say that. I can't say that in public.
No, you can't.
Oh no. She said it's when you hit him with the Gok Gok 9000, honey. Oh! I love that. She's so uncomfortable and so awkward. He's like, what's it like being a TradCon? She's like, I don't know anything about that. I'm just here and I'm just trying to make you happy and you're putting me on the spot and you're filming and we didn't discuss this beforehand and I don't know how to answer this question. Am I doing a good job? I am incredibly uncomfortable. Jeez. Thank you, Poncho Penguin. I really appreciate that. That's so scary. Okay. What you don't see is the shackle around her ankle. Yeah. He has a whole segment.
Come quick, we have to do something. What is it?
I don't
In
he has a
today's
whole segment
episode
about
of
these.
Trad.
Oh, there's so many of these. Okay. Okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to do... boiled linseed oil? Okay, that looks insane. I don't know if I can show you this on stream. This is like... I don't know if I can show you that with all the blood. Let's see. You're telling me this is a straight man? You're telling me this is a straight man? No. I don't believe this. I don't believe this for a fucking second. You're telling me this! This is a straight man! Oh. Should we watch... It's About to Begin? We have to watch It's About to Begin, right? Okay.
Good morning, beloved. Just a quick reminder, today's live stream starts in about 5 minutes. We'll see you over there at wranglerstar.com.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, beloved. Just a
Okay.
quick reminder, today...
Woo! Okay, that could have gone in a... I thought that might go in a very different direction. Okay, alright. Does he call his viewers beloved? That's very strange. I don't like that at all, actually. What do we want to see? How to get out of trouble. Let's see how to get out of trouble. What? He doesn't have shoes on. He's in the snow. He doesn't have any shoes on. He pulled a bunch of stuff out of the truck. None of them were shoes. He still does not have shoes on. Okay. Okay, alright. Okay, I mean, yeah, cool. That's nice. That's useful. Why doesn't he have shoes on? In the woods. He's in the woods. What is he doing? Once you're a level 99 homeowner, you get a buff on your feet that replaces shoes. No, he's gonna get parasites. No.
There's a time and a place to exact justice, to make corrections in your society, to do what you need to do, and read into that read into that, act accordingly. If someone harmed my little ones, and I wasn't receiving justice, I would have a hard time, very hard time, not making things right. There's a time and a place to...
Oh God. We didn't even learn anything. We weren't even taught anything. We were just threatened. We just watched a man make a threat. Oh. Oh jeez. Okay. We have to watch that again though, because if I wasn't, well, if you had to do it, act accordingly. We gotta watch that again. That was really fucking good, and we need to see it again.
Exact justice. To make corrections in your society and do what you need to do, and read into that act accordingly. That's what I'll say.
Yes.
If someone harmed my little ones,
Oh Lord.
and I wasn't receiving justice, I would have a hard time, very hard time, not making things right.
Jesus. Okay. No, I love that he has the ability to do as many takes as he wants, but he was like, no, that's it. That's the one. That's the one. He doesn't wear shoes ever. I don't know if it's a bit, but I've seen his dogs out in the snow, on gravel, on sand. Oh, Lord. Wow. What an incredible... What an incredible individual. What kind of videos does he have? So it's a lot of like home improvement stuff. How I would escape from Tarkov? Oh shit. Oh shit. Why you might not want to date girls over 30. Okay. Do we want to do why you might not want to date girls over 30, or do we want to do why men do not want to work anymore? Ooh, traditional women are rare. Why young men are giving up. American men are only good for one thing, and it's disgusting. Hold on, we're gonna go with why traditional women are rare, because this is only 3 minutes. Like a ruby, this one.
Men have been considered to be like hot and sexy if women would be, the atypical, the big boobs and the dressing like a whore and the fake, all that stuff. For some reason women think that's, and maybe for a time, Pamela Anderson kind of brought all that stuff in. Maybe for a time that was so shocking that it was titillating, right? I get that. I grew up with all of that. But now it's so common, it's revolting. Like, when I see it, I don't think it's sexy or hot anymore. I just think it's trash. And I just look at those women that do that and exhibit themselves in that way as just trash.
I wonder what he thinks dressing like a whore means. Because I think that, you could probably get this guy to say that, wearing spaghetti straps is whore clothes. Yeah. No denim.
Low value. Like an unclean thing that I certainly wouldn't want to be contaminated by.
Oh!
And that's
my man is hateful! Oh my goodness. Women who dress the way I don't want them to are unclean things that I don't want to be contaminated by. Yikes.
Because it's so common. And it's getting to the point now where it's so common that they have to one-up one another. I'm going to make projection that inside of 5 years...
He said they're all doing whore competitions. They're all having a hoe-off.
They're actually going to just start going out naked. Because that's the only place they have to go.
Hell yeah!
Up to gyms. They're already in their...
This is the future the left wants. They're all just gonna go out naked in 5 years.
Underwear. They're just gonna the place they have to just start going out naked.
Hold on.
Projection that inside of 5 years, they're actually gonna just start going out naked. Because that's the only place they have to go.
Yeah.
They're already in their underwear. They're just gonna come out naked. That's what they're gonna do. And it's so common that it will no longer have an effect anymore. You know what's truly hot and attractive is a virtuous woman who is modest, who saves her body.
I don't like the way he said virtuous. I don't like that. Nope. Some about that just feels wrong. The vibes are off. Very, very, very fucked vibes. Sorry, can't do it.
Her sexuality and her attributes for her husband in privacy, who dresses feminine, who conducts herself in a feminine manner and accentuates her femininity.
Wait. But if it's all for her husband, and you're never gonna see any of it, it's never gonna be for you, and you're married, why is that hot to you? Who cares if that's hot to you? Wait a minute, hold on.
Who dresses sexuality and her attributes for her husband, and who is truly hot and attractive, is a virtuous woman who is modest, who saves her body and her sexuality and her attributes for her husband in privacy, who dresses feminine, who conducts herself in a feminine manner.
So why should we care what you think about this, though? You're married. He's married. Why should we care about his opinions? He shouldn't be talking about what's hot. He shouldn't be talking about other women because he's married, and that's very, like, unvirtuous of him to do, because he's not being, like, loyal and committed to his wife by talking about what makes other women hot. And, like, why should anyone care about his opinions? Because he's already committed. This is goofy. This is so goofy!
And accentuates her femininity. And to see Mrs. W running around here with her apron on and working in her garden and raising and educating my children is the most attractive thing and better than anything these 304s put
Oh no! He's using the Fresh and Fit lingo! Okay, this man watches Fresh and Fit. And the reason you know, this man watches Manosphere content, or he maybe either watches like the Whatever podcast, or he watches Fresh and Fit, because 304. Do you guys know what a 304 is? Do you guys know? It's much better than you think it is. Okay. Get a keyboard, or get a calculator. Get a calculator. All right. Type in 304, okay? You see that? Type in 304. I'm so serious right now. I'm dead fucking serious. What does that say? What's that look like? What's that look like? Yeah, it looks like the word hoe. So 304... because these men are perpetually stuck in middle school. These men are perpetual, they have the brains of toxic middle school boys. 304 literally means hoe, because when you type 304 on a calculator and you turn it upside down, it kind of looks like hoe. I'm dead serious. Yeah. They have children's brains. These are adult men that have the brains of children. Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And so, like, Fresh and Fit, the Whatever podcast, like, isn't hoe spelled with an E? Isn't the hoe that's spelled with an E the gardening tool? Everybody just uses HOE to mean, like, as an insult to women. Yeah, did they draw the cool S still? Yeah.
Isn't that something? You know, in the past what's been considered...
That is definitely something, sir.
...to be like prudish and, and homely and such. And I know that a lot of you feel the same way. Like, to see a woman that was covered up and modest and not a whore, virtuous, faithful, loving.
Why would you say 304 when you've just been saying the word whore this entire time?
Your children, raising your children, taking on the responsibilities of being a traditional wife and caring for and cherishing your husband. Is that not about the most attractive thing in the world? Why is it so attractive? Because almost non-existent.
Wow, that's typical 5537304 behavior.
It's rare. And what has value? Rarity. Why is gold valuable? It's rare. It's hard to come by. Why is virtue, a virtuous woman, valuable? Because she's rare. She's hard to come by.
So true. Listen, guys, when you're making decisions about who to spend your life with, should you consider, do we get along? Is she intelligent? Is she funny? Do we have similar interests? Do we grow together? Let's see. Does she care for me? Is she able to handle things on her own? Is she emotionally stable? No, guys, none of that matters. You know what matters? You know what matters? You know what really matters, guys? Has another penis been in there? Has another penis been in there? Absolutely insane. Setting guys up to be absolutely fucking miserable. Did you see the Blueface tweet? Blueface is a rapper. I don't know if you guys know this, but oh, wait a minute. Wait, Talisman. I think this is the video that I found him from initially. Remember when I was saying he posted something completely insane and I posted it on Twitter and then people were like, oh yeah, I know this guy. He used to do other stuff. This is the video. It was the arranged marriage video. Yeah. That's right. Okay.
To the kids, if they started dating someone that you knew is bad for them, how would you talk to the kids if they started dating someone that you knew is bad for them? It makes me think arranged marriages wasn't such a bad thing. No, of course, Mrs. W and I have always had this joke with people, and our friends are appalled, Like, we're all about arranged marriages. And I'll tell you, when people see, Jack because of his character, he's a good kid, but really because he's had a beautiful mother that has raised him properly, and educated him properly and seen to it.
That's why he lives in the woods. If there's a penis in the same area code of his wife, she's cheating.
She always says, I'm raising,
so
this
true.
is an important job. I am raising another woman's husband. And she takes that role very seriously. And we have, it's still tongue in cheek. But as times are changing, it is a very common thing that people that meet Jack that have daughters of similar age, those comments are made. Too bad we're not back in the time of arranged marriages. Wouldn't Jack? Those things are coming up. So we think that that's so outlandish and so crazy, but it's not. It's a better way to do it. Let me ask you this: who is in a better position to pick a suitable mate for a 16, 17, 18-year-old girl? Her father and mother of the age and wisdom that can look out, check out the family, do a little checking around, find out what's going on, talk to all parties involved, or a hormonally raging 17-year-old, 18-year-old. I mean,
Mom, can you pick me up? I'm scared. They're talking about arranged marriages online. What the fuck? Yeah, I think I remember seeing this. He's gonna be so alone in that nursing home. Woo! Whoop, whoop, woo! Yeah, his daughter's like, hey, this guy, we have a lot of the same interests. He's like, hello, FBI. Yeah, she's like, hey, we have a lot of the same interests. He's really nice to me. I really like him. I think I want to date him. Her dad's like, okay, that's great and all, but this man here is very interested in chaining you to his oven. And personally, I think that'll make for a great family, right? You just have to do everything he says. He'll let you out of the kitchen occasionally. He did promise me he will only chain you to the oven for 12 hours a day. Daddy loves you. Daddy's looking out for you. Okay? You're not going to be chained to the kitchen 24 hours. You'll go out. You'll have enrichment in your enclosure. He's not gonna make you start pumping him out until you're at least 17, okay? You know, you can always call your mother. Holy shit! Woo!
Can we
Oh,
use some common sense here for a moment and get away from the fairy tale and my freedoms and all this BS? I mean, come on now.
I'm sorry. Guy who wants to live in the woods and destroy the government because all he cares about is guy who is telling people to shoot UN peacekeepers in the head because he's all about my freedom is like, yeah, but she's a woman. Women don't need freedom. They need to be chained to my radiator. They need to be chained to my oven for 12 hours a day. I love this. It's all about my freedoms when it's for him. But if it's his daughter wanting to have a degree of freedom and control over her life, well, that's ridiculous because women don't deserve freedom, guys.
Now, I'm not saying I'm going to do that. We don't live in, that's not our culture. It's ridiculous to think about. But what I have...
It's ridiculous to think about. I do joke about it, talk about it, make arguments for it constantly, and I'm now making a YouTube video saying that maybe it would be a good thing. It's ridiculous! I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I support it. However, if I did support it, here is 17 detailed arguments for why it's a good thing. Also, I am making this YouTube video about it. For my 2.35 million subscribers.
Done, and Mrs. W have done, is we work...
That's so ridiculous. Unless. Yeah, big unless energy here.
Quietly behind the scenes. We listen to our kids. We make suggestions. We try to guide them in a particular way. We try to create environments where they will be amongst healthy people and discourage environments where they'll be put outside of healthy people so that good choices can be made. You know, but we keep our mouths shut. We will give advice when it's asked. Jack's not a child anymore. He'll be 18 now. But he's so comfortable. You know, one thing that...
My daughter, a raging hormonal, 18-year-old. However, my son, 18, not a child, a man.
I'm not going to get into personal things out of respect.
Cool.
For him,
cool.
To come to us with questions without us prying that are very personal. And Mrs. W and I, after he does this, he's done this. He does it all the time. We marvel and we say, "Goodness, I can't even imagine. I would have never ever, as a Gen Xer, I would have never ever came to my parents with that. Never. Just assume cut off my hand, than do that." But he feels comfortable in doing that, and he does that because he's soft and he's a tender boy, and he lives in an environment with parents that make him feel comfortable that he can do that will listen to him.
So wait, he's an 18-year-old adult, but he's also a soft, tender boy? I don't feel like this man is allowed to say he has a soft, tender boy. I feel like it's illegal for this man specifically to describe his son as a soft, tender boy.
And
I am uncomfortable.
That's everything. That's everything.
We don't talk enough about what abominations Gen X are. Yeah, so not only... Okay, here's the deal. You gotta cut this guy some slack, right? Because not only does he wake up every morning and eat charcoal, but he is also filled with lead. This man's body is like 60% lead, okay? You gotta cut him a little bit of slack. Alright, we got one more.
You know what the hottest thing
Oh my god, what is he doing? Wait, what is all of this? That's it? What is this? What does this mean? Guys, I don't think he's talking about pandas, guys. I think he's making fucking tire spikes. Holy shit. Yeah, how to keep pandas out of your garden. It's like, this is how you blow up someone's tires. Holy lord. Yeah, this man is terrifying. This is the scariest man I've ever seen. This man is welding barefoot. Yeah, he's got the dogs out while he's welding. Woo! Oh, man. Yeah, this man's body is 60% lead, 31% charcoal, 39% charcoal, 1% well-done steak, no veggies, you fucking commie. How dare you even suggest that he would eat a vegetable? Woo! This can't be allowed on YouTube? Apparently it is. Look at the kind of people that are liking this stuff too. They all have like 61,000. One more? Okay, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do one
You
more.
worry about gun registration and the government coming for them. Thank you for their knowledge. Nope, I don't. I don't care. They can do whatever they want to. I've already decided in my mind what I'm going to do and what bridge is going to be a bridge too far, as well as my neighbors, as well as my local sheriff, and we have a plan. So I'm not going to lose a bit of sleep over it. I don't care. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you should do the same. If you get my drift. Of course, you should always follow the laws.
Act accordingly! Panda equals black and whites equals cops, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That he's like putting road spikes out so that and hiding them so that if cops come, that it'll fuck up their tires, yeah. Yeah, so he's completely insane. I love that. He was like, oh, they're gonna come for my guns? My entire city, including the sheriff, we're all gonna Ruby Ridge those fuckers. That's what he said! Jesus Christ. He said, we as a community will do a Ruby Ridge. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. A spark fell directly on his foot while he was welding. He had no reaction. He is laser focused on making sure the pandas cannot enter his woodland paradise. Yeah, okay. So this man is the scariest person I've ever seen in my life. Jeez. I think this person needs to have their videos reported to YouTube and the FBI. He has 2.35 million subscribers. Like, the FBI knows who this person is. You think he's scary? Yeah, I think he's kind of a freak. Yeah. Yeah, I think this man is actually a certified freak.
You worry about gun registration, like
a certified fucking freak, yes. I've watched him for years. Well, you're probably a certified freak too. It's okay, this is a freak-friendly space. Oh god, I thought he was gonna be making his own killdozer in this video. Oh god. Yeah, this man is probably already on every list. Think of a list. Think of a list. This man's on it. This man's on lists you don't know exist. Oh my god. Killdozer? You know what a killdozer... You guys know about the killdozer. Yeah. This guy is on lists where he's the only member. They have lists for this man. He was in a Christian cult. He left it, but still believes all the crazy shit. Oh my god. A guy who's like, yeah, I was in a cult. Everyone in it was really toxic, so I left. I do actually still believe all the things they believe, though. Now I'm just in that cult on my own. Wow. Wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. What a guy. What a terrifying guy. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he left it to be in charge. I really felt like they were harshing the vibes, so I left to start my own branch of the cult. Holy shit. loved my time there, but the fan base was insufferable. Okay. Alright. So I've been streaming for like 3 hours, and it's 4:30, and I have not eaten. I have not eaten any lunch. I think I had like a really, really light breakfast too. So I am gonna send you guys off. I'm gonna send you back to Paradigm, actually. I'll send you guys over to Paradigm, see what he's talking about, what he's doing. Yeah. I'm gonna make our own cult with blackjack and hookers. I can't believe I streamed twice in a week. That's crazy. Alright. Hopefully this raid works. No, that didn't work. Hold on.
Sampson away from behind. Now Miller, the lead pass running in. Whoa! Oh my goodness!
That's weird. So even when I completely copy his username, it's saying that it's not, it's invalid. Hold on. I'm gonna try this one more time. 3rd time's a charm. Yeah! That's right! That's right! Professional streamer! Professional streamer Merrick DeVille! The 3rd time's the fucking charm! Get in the raid. Get your ass in the raid. Get your fucking asses in that raid. Okay, bye. I love you guys.